tickets to tourists, giving them access to the bridge without first getting a clearance certificate. The bridge was opened, viewers, without a clearance certificate, without a safety audit. Imagine, viewers, this soulless company of despicable profiteers sold tickets to children and adults to access an illegally opened bridge. And viewers, they overcharged the children and the adults. The state allowed the concessionaire to send people to their deaths. If this isn't true, then can the state explain how a bridge was operating illegally for 6 days without permission? Can it tell us why some small fry from the firm have been arrested and not the owners? Are the owners too important? Are they friends? If this isn't state collusion, then what is? Not one among the parents of 49 children who have lost their pride and joy will disagree with me tonight, viewers. You try telling those parents that the state and the concessionaire's bosses, its owners, weren't to blame. They will never accept it. So why should we, viewers? Why should you and I? Why should all of us accept this? For years altogether, the Indian state has been finding new ways to murder us. Manholes left uncovered by the state's administrative machinery across India have killed a total of 5,393 people between 2015 and 2020. That's an average of 2 innocents dying daily because of state maladministration. In fact, 30% of India's total manhole deaths happen in Gujarat alone. When innocent people are not falling into manholes, then they are busy dodging potholes on neglected roads. 5,626 people, in fact, died in road accidents due to potholes in 2 years between 2018 and 2020. That's an average of 7 people dying every day. Once again, they are sent to their deaths by state negligence. In 2019, more than 1 million people were literally poisoned to death because of spiraling air pollution that continues unabated due to state inertness. Toxin in our water killed 7 people every day in 2018. This despite every tax-paying Indian being levied an additional Swachh Bharat cess by the government. These are, viewers, serial killings. The murders are relentless because the state is relentlessly protecting its own. When did you last hear of a senior administration official, a member of parliament, an MLA, or even a mayor being sentenced to death for causing death due to negligence? That's precisely what is happening in Morbi, Gujarat. Here the state, after having abandoned hundreds to their fate in the hands of unscrupulous collaborators, has not even named one senior administration official in the FIR, viewers. Even the name of the owners and the CEO of the concessionaire, which sent people to their deaths, are missing from the FIR. Instead, the state is passing the buck to the contractors in charge of the daily maintenance of the bridge. This is a cover-up of 140 murders. Now let me tell you how. Let's break it down for you, viewers. I will always give you just the facts so that you get closer to the truth. Last evening, the bridge became a stairway to hell. A structure that could barely hold 80 to 100 people at a time was crammed with up to 400. Innocent visitors who didn't know they were buying tickets to their death for 12 and 17 rupees. In fact, the concessionaire was not supposed to charge 17 rupees, viewers, till next year. There was a cap on the tickets. They were completely into profiteering. None of these people knew that this particular bridge should not have been opened. But viewers, on the day of Gujarati New Year, this bridge was open, thrown open to the public, and I will show you, viewers, the opening ceremony video, the ribbon cutting, where the owners of this company are standing, cutting the ribbon. Look at them on the extreme right, viewers. They're all there. Are they in jail? No, they won't go to jail. Viewers, this Morbi murder is an outcome of a series of grave lapses on part of the Morbi municipality, which is now trying to abdicate responsibility in favor of this concessionaire by saying that they knew nothing about this bridge being thrown open to the public prematurely months before its due date. Can you imagine, viewers? You, as the municipal corporation of Morbi, own the bridge. You didn't know for 6 days there were people cramming this bridge, that there were people crossing from one side to the other. That too having been sold tickets at an inflated price. They want us to believe, these municipal corporators, that they did not know that thousands of tickets were being sold daily. That a structure was functional without any fitness certificate or safety clearance been accorded to it, viewers. Viewers, there are several problems, and let me take you through this. Blind eye to blame for this bloodbath. There is just no other way of looking at it. The bridge, the property of the municipality, given to Oreva, this company that makes clocks for maintenance. How does a clockmaker end up maintaining a structure as complicated as a cable bridge? I don't know. The question, however, is, can Morbi municipality abdicate its responsibility? This question must be answered by Sandeep Singh Zala, the chief officer of Morbi municipality. If he's not been arrested, viewers, it's because he's being shielded. If the owners of this concessionaire, Oreva, are not being arrested, it's because they are being shielded. Let someone tell me otherwise. The firm threw the bridge open to visitors without notifying us, says the municipality. Was the municipality unaware of advertisements that had appeared in the newspapers? Are they blind, viewers? I mean, think about it. The concessionaire is advertising, come to the bridge, buy the ticket, take a selfie for Instagram. And this Zala fellow doesn't know. Viewers, children are dead. Almost 4 dozen children are dead. And Zala is looking the other way. Viewers, the municipality under Zala says not aware of opening, so couldn't conduct a safety audit. The bridge was functional for 5 days, yet the administration is unaware. Who are they fooling? This man should walk to the closest police station and surrender if he has any shame. The bridge was opened after completion of renovation work, says Zala's Morbi Municipal Corporation. The contract said 8 to 12 months. How was the renovation over in 5 years? The municipality hadn't issued a fitness certificate post the renovation. How are the ticket sales happening without an audit? Sandeep Singh Zala, you need to surrender, sir. Your bosses need to surrender. And the Chief Minister needs to answer why Zala's name is not in the FIR. I want to open this up, viewers. I want to get a sense of this from the BJP's national spokesperson, Shazia Ilmi. I want some answers tonight. Shazia Ilmi, I want to ask you tonight, shouldn't the Gujarat government be sued for criminal negligence for thousands of crores by the people whose lives it has jeopardized? First, I want to ask you a basic question like this.
Well, what I would like to say is that we are seeing pictures of this absolutely heartbreaking tragedy, and I cannot deflect or run away from the responsibility of the government there or the officials there, and nobody is. In fact,
really,
there are cases. There are the sections under which the criminal action has been taken are very serious sections.
Look, I don't want to make this about
I'll tell you why
homilies. No, one second.
Finish.
I am not going to hear homilies tonight. You're saying that they're not running away from their responsibilities. Now, how are they not running away when the owner of this company is not behind bars?
I never said that. No, I said they cannot run away.
They cannot run away.
I said they cannot run away.
But they are.
I said they cannot run away from this.
But they
That's
are.
what I said.
But they are. Would you not agree they are?
Today I have to, if you want me to be the fall guy for this tragedy, I'm ready to take it. I'm ready to be that person.
You should be.
Because I represent the party whose state unit is in power there. So I'm very responsible. Yeah, I am answering for the BJP. But I want to say that 9 FIRs have been done, and the sections under which it has been done are very serious.
Can you name the people?
2 officers are there.
Can you name the people?
Employees are there.
Can you name the people?
If the owner is I can name the people. Yeah. I can open it and I can show it to you, the details. But the owner will be also caught. The owner will also be caught.
Right.
And he cannot run away. He will not be allowed to get away. So I don't think the government of Gujarat or state government is anyway trying to. I think the inquiry, the inquiry is already, the committee has already been set up.
We need an inquiry.
Rescue operations are already underway. They have been within an hour. But the fact is,
an FIR has been.
No, about
now
what
let
has
me give you the facts, viewers.
Suspension bridge,
let me give you the facts. Okay, let me give you the facts. Look, Shazia Almi, I'm not going to tonight say that you are not doing your job. But I am going to criticize the Gujarat government for not doing its duty by the people. Your job is to lock up the guilty. I want to know why the mayor of this municipal corporation of Morbi is still free. I want to know where the MLA is. I want to know, viewers, where the chief minister is. Why hasn't he stepped down? I'll tell you one second, viewers, you must listen to me. One second. Viewers, just a few days ago, there was another dreadful tragedy that took place in South Korea, in Seoul. Approximately the same number of people have passed away. There's a national mourning that has been announced there. National mourning. National mourning, viewers, let those words sink into you. Here, viewers, it's business as usual. It's business as usual. People are going about happily holding election rallies, expressing regret, but viewers, I am not hearing anyone at any senior level being punished. I don't see people being punished for pothole deaths, for young children falling into manholes. You remember Prince? You remember Prince, viewers? The Chief Minister of the state didn't go to jail. He didn't even quit. Prince wasn't the only one. Hundreds and hundreds, I've given you the statistics of children and adults still fall into manholes. We don't matter. And I'm not ranting here, viewers, I'm giving you statistics. If we mattered, there would be the same number of top officials in jail as the number of people who died. Now, viewers, I want to open this up further. Shazia Almi has been gallant enough to give us at least an expression of regret. But tonight, viewers, that's not going to be enough. Parents of 47 children have had the light go out of their lives, and they want punishment of the same proportion that was handed out to their children by grotesquely profiteering state officials and the concessionaire. There's just no other way of looking at this. I want to bring in Dr. Anand Ranganathan on this. Dr. Ranganathan, what do you make tonight? Why have no municipal officials been named in the FIR? Why is the Chief Minister not tendering his resignation post haste?
Good evening, Rahul, and good evening to my fellow panelists. First of all, my heartfelt condolences to the bereaved. This is an incalculable tragedy, as you said. 50 children are dead, more than 150 people are dead. And whichever way you look at this, as you have explained amply, this is a case of criminal negligence. This is a case of criminal culpability, starting from the company that was given the onus of renovating this bridge, all the way up to, I dare say, even the Chief Minister. But there are three things that I must say here. Number one, first of all, I want to thank you, although this is possibly not the moment to do that, but for standing up for the common citizen and saying what needs to be said. I'm not being patronizing here at all. There are many people who would shirk away from the responsibility that you have taken upon yourself. Number two, it is a fact, as you said, that the fitness certificate was not provided, and the culpability there, criminal culpability, lies with the government. So I want to ask, as you rightly said, why is no minister named in the FIR? Why is Mr. Purnesh Modi, who is the Minister for Transport, as well as railway, bridges, as well as road, as well as tourism, why is he still on his post? He should have resigned yesterday evening itself. Remember, it was Narendra Modi who had publicly praised Lal Bahadur Shastri when he had resigned as a railway minister after one incident where 140 people were dead, and emulating Lal Bahadur Shastri, the NDA railway minister, Mr. Suresh Prabhu, had also resigned after two very quick incidents of railway mishaps that happened in Uttar Pradesh. So I want to ask, why is no Gujarat minister? Why has no Gujarat minister resigned? The least we expect is the resignation of Mr. Purnesh Modi. Number two, as you correctly said, the fitness certificates were not given. How on earth was this bridge even being operated? How? That has to be answered not just by the private company. And as you said, why was the contract given to a company that is known for repairing clocks? But it has to be answered by the administration. It has to be answered by the government, by the Chief Minister. And number three, I don't want to politicize this, but I have to say this, if at all someone can be accused of politicizing this, let me take you back to 2013 Kolkata bridge collapse, where immediately the Kolkata administration, when it said it was an act of God, it was the current Prime Minister Narendra Modi who said it was not an act of God, Didi, it was an act of fraud. And if you remember 2016, that was just on the eve of the West Bengal elections, and it was Mr. Narendra Modi who called Mamata government shameless and said that God has shown the way of what happens if Mamata is elected. So obviously such accidents have been politicized in the past, and it has come back to haunt the BJP. And final point, let me say this. The only way to end suffering in this country, and again I'm not politicizing this, Rahul, is to make our politicians suffer it. If you look at the NCRB data of 2020-2019, in the last 2 years, 30 bridges have collapsed, 9 dams have collapsed. What are we talking about? In this country, you have 9 dams that have collapsed and 30 bridges. Where is the infrastructure when we've been promised about this taxpayers' money? So, unless we shore up, the citizens shore up and demand accountability right from the top, I'm afraid nothing's going to change. But here, in the least, I want my good friend Shazia Ilmi to demand the resignation of at least Mr. Purnesh Modi, who is the minister here.
Well, let me tell you, 1 second, we have tried to question another minister who wafted into the hospital today earlier, and I will show you that encounter, viewers, and you can see that person, Brijesh Merja behaved as if he was doing us a favor, and he didn't have the grace, viewers, to apologize on behalf of his government and say, look, I have been so moved by this tragedy that I'm going to go back and I'm going to tender my resignation. Viewers, I want you to listen to this exchange. This is Times Now confronting Mr. Mirja. Now just watch this and look at the arrogance. He reeks of it. To answer a question in a democracy, it's like people are doing you a favor these days. Watch this, viewers.
We want to ask you that ब्रिज का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऐसा क्यों दिया गया? कोई चेक्स एंड बैलेंसेस क्यों नहीं होता है? इनोसेंट लाइफ का लॉ, इनोसेंट लाइफ की जो जान जाती है वो इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं होती है क्या? यू आर जस्ट मूविंग आउट ऑफ योर सिक्योरिटी पर्सन इज जस्ट पुशिंग मी, एवरीथिंग इज फाइन. आई एम आस्किंग यू वेरी सिंपल क्वेश्चन.
I am
very
giving the answer you only that answer. Here I am came for see to patient. No more comments regarding.
You have to answer Gujarati, sir. Your Gujaratis who have voted you, who have made you mantri, and you are accountable to them, sir. And you have to answer them. Basically, what we are asking you over here is that why proper checks and balances were not being done. Your bodyguard is pushing me now. You can push. He's pushing me now. I am not lying to you. You're not answering me questions. By pushing media person like this, can your accountability set in? Can justice be given? I'm asking you, can justice be given? See, this is, he's pushing me like this. He's pushing me like this. You're going to set accountability?
Please.
Like this?
Hello, Awan. Bas.
Like this you're setting accountability?
Please,
I'm seriously.
Please off your camera. Please off.
I'm asking
please
you.
Off your camera.
आपको एक ग्रीन कॉरिडोर मिल जाता है, पर वो आम आदमी को ग्रीन कॉरिडोर नहीं मिलता है सर. वो आम आदमी के फैमिली मेंबर को वो ग्रीन कॉरिडोर और वैसी सुविधाएं नहीं मिलती है. वही अनफॉर्चुनेट है सर, वही अनफॉर्चुनेट चीज है. और ये हमेशा होता है, इसलिए हम बार बार आपसे प्रश्न पूछते हैं. सर, आपको आपके बॉडीगार्ड लेके जाते हैं धक्का मार के. अगर कोई नेता वहां पे गिर जाता तो उसको बचाया जाता बॉडीगार्ड की तरफ से, बट वैसा वो आम आदमी को नहीं बचा सकते ना, उनके पास वो सुविधाएं नहीं है. इसके लिए हम आपके पीछे आ रहे हैं सर. सो यू सी, यू बीन सीइंग दिस, दैट दिस नेता एज वेल, he's been avoiding our questions. He's been trying to move up. हम आपको एक सिंपल क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हैं कि वो चेक्स एंड बैलेंसेस वो जो करने चाहिए थे वो क्यों नहीं किए गए सर? इसका आंसर हमें दीजिए.
હવે कोई बात में जबरदस्ती ना हो.
आपका ब्रेथ लीजिए फिर बोलिए, ठीक है? समझ सकते हैं, सीढ़ी से आए, ब्रेथ लीजिए बोलिए.
You are kindly listen me. Here I am coming only for patient, not for you.
तो पहले अगर
मैं आपको हाथ जोड़ के विनती कर
हाथ जोड़ के विनती करता हूं, don't ask me any questions. I am not here for you. I am not here for the people of Gujarat who are asking these questions tonight, viewers. And let me tell you, they're not alone. Length and breadth of this country, people are asking the same question. That the people, the parents of the 47 children in Gujarat are today asking. Now I know that the opposition is going to have a field day, viewers. And why not? There's nothing wrong in politicizing a tragedy like this, because someone has to ask those questions. I wish they were asked more consistently though. And the people who will today from the opposition ask those questions will grandstand, of course. Their own chief ministers will not take responsibility when bridges collapse in their states. But it's a democracy, viewers. People can ask those questions. Let me bring in Professor Monojit Mondol, National Spokesperson of the TMC. Mr. Mondol, you will of course sit here and ask Modi the questions. You will ask the Chief Minister, you're entitled to. What's your question?
Rahul, we will certainly ask question to the Gujarat government for their accountability for the loss of over 150 lives, but we are not going to politicize the issue like them, what they did. Even for one unfortunate death that happened in 2018 bridge collapse, look what these people said. Even for one unfortunate death. My previous panelist referred to the 2016 bridge collapse. 2 people were killed. The bridge was being built by the Metro Railway Corporation for the metro lines. Just 2 people. Look what did the Prime Minister utter. We are not going to politicize this humongous human tragedy, though we consider this is a man-made murder. You have rightly pointed it out. 150 people, and look at the level of response from the government, from the minister, as he was rightly chased by your camera persons. Look at the brazenness. This is the way they treat tragedies. We are not going to politicize. We are not in a mood to politicize at all. We are absolutely with the victim's family. Their lives cannot be certainly recompensated. But again, just 4 lakhs rupees, 4 lakhs to the families of the victims. I'm again saying that this cannot be compensated at all. But you go and be with the people. The Chief Minister is yet to visit the place, and when 2018 happened, and clearly remember, Mamtadi was in Darjeeling. Mamtadi was in Darjeeling for a different official to say came back immediately on that evening itself. Just for one unfortunate death when the Kolkata bridge collapsed in September 2018. And what did your leaders talk about? Look, these are unfortunate tragedies, but this cannot be called an unfortunate tragedy, because this could have been averted.
Okay.
The kind of statistics
could have been
that you are
averted,
giving,
no
Rahul,
responsibility, no accountability.
Really sending
Let me
chill
open
to
this
my
up.
spine.
Let me bring in
This
Tushar
could
Gupta
have
and
been
Shazia
averted. I
Ilmi.
mean,
Shazia
there
Ilmi
was
to
no
respond.
completion certificate.
Okay, I understood.
This was meant for business purpose. They're
Right.
profiteering.
Yes.
I mean, this is amazing. We did not know these statistics at all.
Okay.
Now we are shocked beyond words
Shocked.
that this bridge was opened deliberately
Okay.
on the
Shazia
day
Ilmi.
of, on the day
opposition
of
is
New
shocked
Year of
beyond
Gujarati,
words.
followed
The
by
nation
Chhath
is shocked
Puja
beyond
to
words.
make profit.
Okay, profit. The word profit is constantly coming up, and it is inescapable. Shazia Ilmi, respond to Monojit Mondol.
Absolutely.
Respond.
So I don't have an issue with profits, and I think when there are public private setups like these and understandings, this is the idea. There has to be profit, there has to be development, but there has to be accountability. And I think something very serious has happened, and I cannot run away and will not run away from all the tough questions that you ask, because you ought to ask them. It is indeed heartbreaking and sad. And yes, everybody involved should be there have to be charges, so it doesn't happen again. The charges have to be pressed. You asked about 9, so 9 arrests have been done, and the owner is still the family is still not yet arrested. That is true, but the fact of the matter is that nobody can run away from something like this, and nobody will run away. That's all I can say at this point of time.
Sanjay
and
Jha.
I think it's a matter of great
Sanjay
shame.
Jha, respond to Shazia
that,
Ilmi. No one can run away,
that this has happened.
and no one will. She says, she's assuring you. Yes, go ahead.
Rahul, on your show, you and I end up bickering and squabbling and having our own altercations very often. But I need to tell you upfront that in your introduction to today's program, I think you have dispassionately put all the facts on the table, and I'll agree with Anand as well that these are moments we need to be absolutely bipartisan and only speak in the interest of the common and ordinary citizens of India. I want to share something with you which is a very personal, deep conviction of mine, and one of the reasons why I am personally in politics, that I think Indian politicians, Rahul, get away with both a free lunch and a free dinner. We all travel a lot, and I can tell you that today most of us here on this program have probably we read and we are informed and we travel. No democracy in the world lives with the kind of hypocrisy, substandard, third-grade pedestrian culture that we have created for ourselves. And you know the example that you showed on your program of a leader who says, I have no time, I've come here to meet the patients and everything else can wait. It is just a manifestation of the way we are, right? Politicians are about power. And I can tell you the last couple of days, so much of conversation on the success of Rishi Sunak that all of us are very proud of. But tell me, do Indian politicians know, will they accept that the former Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who gave the Conservatives the biggest landslide win after Margaret Thatcher, actually lost his job because there was a party in 10 Downing Street and he was not wearing a mask? I mean, that's the kind of standard politicians need to be held to. And I think, at the end of the day, the reason, we fight on optimism and the hope of a change But today I would like to put it on record that, whether it's a blame game, whether it's, somebody continuing with the campaign, I mean, politicians in India are brazen, and I'm talking about across the entire political ecosystem, by the way. I mean, each one has had that bad hair day, and it's terrible because, I just, all of us on this show, and I'm sure all your viewers, just take a deep pause and think, if out of the 47 children, one was our own or related to us, so think about the other families. Imagine the mammoth grief they are going through. For what? Because they went on a bridge that they thought was safe. They moved it around, it collapsed, and they're dead, they're gone. And these families will probably take years, if at all, to kind of reconcile to this nightmare.
Okay.
So let me leave it there, Rahul. But I'll agree with Manojit on one thing. Should the Indian politicians please do not announce this 2 lakh, 4 lakh compensation? That is like adding insult to injury. And I would like all political parties to come together and create a fund that pays a handsome compensation, and people apologize to the families who I think are devastated for
I'll tell you something better.
Yeah.
All politicians should come together and pass a law in Parliament. The Supreme Court, viewers, and let me tell you, the Supreme Court has called upon the Law Commission, and I'm talking about 2014, saying that there should be a law of torts where the ordinary citizen, where Dr. Ranganathan, where any ordinary citizen can file a case along with others against the state, not against corporations.
Exactly.
Against the state, and demand justice, compensation, call it what you want to.
Yep.
And this is what the Supreme Court said. Where activity of a public body is hazardous, highest degree of care is expected and breach of such duty is actionable. This obligation is also referable to Article 21, right to life and liberty of the Constitution. We reiterate the need for a comprehensive legislation dealing with tortious liability of the state in such cases for certainty on the subject, unquote. This is what the judgment read. We request the Law Commission to look into the matter and take such steps as may be found necessary, unquote. What happened, viewers? Nothing. One perfunctory amendment has been made to the Consumer Code, Redressal Code, viewers, allowing for consumer panels on your behalf to sue not the state but the corporation. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan, you want to come in. After that, I'll bring in Tushar Gupta and also Kapil Madan. Yes.
No, very briefly, Rahul, just to agree with what Mr. Sanjay Jha and Mr. Mondal and Shazi Almi have said, but the fact is that public memory is so short, Rahul.
Yeah.
As you correctly said, we have to have some kind of a class action. I ask of every panelist, and I include myself in here, how many of us even remember Dr. Amrapurkar?
Yes, it's true.
I'm sure no one does.
No.
I only remember him because he was a doctor scientist. If you remember 2017, during the Mumbai rains, he disappeared down a manhole.
Exactly.
He died. Nobody knew. His family could not get his body for a day. His body was recovered miles down. And what has happened? There was no compensation. There was no regret. No minister resigned. So unless it hurts the people who are taking our tax money to give us these so-called benefits, I'm afraid, as Sanjay Jha says, public memory is very short and nothing is going to change. Just to I know this is not the time for bickering, but just minor correction, Mr. Mondal, it wasn't 2 people who died in 2016 Kolkata bridge collapse, 27 people died, but I take your point.
Mr. Tushar Gupta, how do you respond to Sanjay Jha, the TMC spokesperson, and the others?
Good evening, Rahul. You know, the TMC spokesperson said a lot of things, but he said this 3 important words: could have been averted rather. And this describes the helplessness we all feel after every such incident. You know, if I look at infrastructure across India, there are so many projects, so many bridges, so many highways, so many different kind of cable bridges, whatever you want to go for, that you fear will be the cause of someone's death one day. You fear that. You walk on them, you travel on them, and you fear that what if one day this highway consumes a life, and yet you move on. thinking, oh, it's not me, it could be someone else, or I hope it's not me, I hope it's not someone else. You just move on, because that is what a public memory is. It's short. You know, there is Sanjay Jha on this panel, there is Mr. Mondal, there is Dr. Ranganathan, there is you, there is Kapil. A lot of people I know personally. You know what unites us today, apart from the grief we all are facing within? That we all are being choked currently by another infrastructural problem. You and I are breathing a poisonous air, but we won't talk about it unless one of us is consumed by lung poisoning. We won't talk about it. But at the end of it, one of us will get up and say, this could have been averted. That is the helplessness of us as a society. And this is not about the politics of it, Rahul. I don't care for politics at this instant. I don't care about it. But what I care about is the value of human life. Every year, Rahul, we have something like this coming up. Mumbai, the monsoons happen, someone falls down a pothole. There are accidents on highways during winter because of fog. People are killed. We wonder, why this happened again this year? Every year, people in NCR die of lung poisoning because of the smog. We again ask the same question. Why did this happen? Yet, we refuse to look on the answers right before us. That is a helplessness, Rahul. That is what causes accidents like
this
Morbi.
Is the problem.
What
you see, all governments
you
have
saw
left
what happened in South Korea.
All governments,
Rahul.
yes. Yeah, finish what you're saying. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Mr. Gupta, go ahead.
Rahul, you see what happened in South Korea. You see what happened in South Korea. 150 people, that's a very untimely, very unfortunate incident that happened. And you pray, you honestly look at it. I've never been to South Korea, but I pray that this doesn't happen to anyone. And the next day it happens in your country. What are you supposed to feel? I mean, I can pin the blame on one chief minister, prime minister, home minister, whoever. I want to blame so many people. But at the end, I want to ask one question. Why at the end of everything, it's the same one, same line, could have been averted?
No, I'll tell you, because there's no accountability. There is no accountability, and my problem is that the political culture, viewers, has left you and I totally helpless. No one wants to bite the bullet. Kapil Madan, let me ask you, you're a spokesperson for the Congress, you're an advocate, you're a political analyst, you're a sympathizer of the Congress rather, and I want to ask you a very simple question tonight. For years altogether, and I'm not making this about the Congress or the BJP or the NDA or the UPA, so don't pillory me. I'm asking. Governments have come and gone. You're a man of the law. Why couldn't they simply, all these governments who hang their heads in for shame before us all today, all these politicians, why can't they get together in Parliament and pass a law of torts? I want to ask you this. Don't everyone today have blood on their hands?
So Rahul, I agree with you. I mean, this is high time, and this is the right time that we should have a codified law, which will cover situation like this. But let me tell you one thing, Rahul. The law of torts will only cover the compensatory aspects of it. If an unfortunate life has been lost, what would be the compensatory aspect insofar as the person who has lost his life and whatever his family will get? But here the situation is quite different, as you very elaborately explained that it is a case, and in fact all the panelists here agree that it is a clear case where you have a direct there cannot be anything more visible than this of criminal negligence, when you have a clear case of criminal negligence and you don't make the public official as accused in the FIR. You don't make the minister accused as the FIR. Now there are two aspects of it, Rahul. The first aspect is when you award a tender, and when you award a tender to a company that apparently does not have any experience in the construction industry, as you very rightly pointed out, that the company is into manufacturing or maintenance of some clocks, etc., then what was the basis, what was the material, what was the representations, what were the documents, the technical bids, etc., that was submitted by the company on the basis of which this tender was awarded, and who all were a part of the committee that decided that this tender will be awarded to them. That is one aspect. If you go into this inquiry, you will perhaps find out who is the person, or who all are the people who are actually responsible for this. Now, the second aspect.
It doesn't take Einstein.
Can I come in?
I mean, obviously, it's the state government.
Of
They are the
course,
ones who are awarding these contracts, and therefore, Shazia Elmi, I have to come back to you. One second, let me come back to you.
Rahul.
Yes.
Look.
Rahul, you're missing the point here. The point I'm trying to
Rahul,
make
one point. Rahul, one point.
The point I'm trying to make here.
Rahul, one
Yeah,
point.
okay.
One small point.
One at a
You want to
time.
create a hogwash
Let Mr.
here.
Madan finish. Yeah.
The point I'm trying to make here, when all this data, all this material is available with you, that should have been a part of the FIR.
Okay, that's exactly the point I made. Yes, okay. Tushar Gupta, answer, and I want to bring in Shazia and me right after that. Yes, and viewers, do call in tonight.
You know,
tell us who do you think is to
further
blame.
extend, just
Let's hear you.
Just an extension of what Kapil said.
Go ahead.
Yeah, to extend to what just Kapil also mentioned about the public officials, we also need to see who the bureaucrats on the ground were, Rahul. Because these are some nameless faces. We don't know who the bureaucrats on the ground were. It's not possible to know exactly at the right, immediately who the bureaucrats were.
I got
but
it.
You need to also hold the bureaucrats accountable.
No, everyone. I've said
people
so.
on
The
ground who were
municipality,
supposed
which
to
is
monitor
packed with
why
bureaucrats.
the bridge was in operation. why the
Absolutely,
people were
no
allowed,
doubt about
they also
it.
need to be held accountable.
Absolutely. But unfortunately, accountability starts right from the top. That's the way it is. And it's unfortunate that the person at the top, the Chief Minister of this state, is at this moment not coming out and telling us why he thinks it is okay for him to continue in office. Shazia and me, I can't understand this reticence. Can you explain it to the viewer?
He's not even visited the victims.
Yeah, one second. Let's.
No, I don't. So no, I don't have an answer for that. I don't know why the Chief Minister hasn't resigned or whether he will resign. And I can tell you this much about the party I work with and who the one I speak for, that anybody guilty either of negligence, and this is criminal negligence, and the sections.
I'm not getting a clear answer tonight from the BJP. I'm not getting a definitive answer. I want timelines. I want to know why the Chief Minister.
Yeah, because I can't tell you whether he will. I can't give you a yes or no.
But why hasn't he already? The point is, if it's a responsive government, as he claims it is.
I can't give you an answer to that.
Why should I be asking?
You are right. I cannot.
Okay. Let me bring in our viewers. One second, Dr. Ranganathan. Let me bring in three of our viewers. I don't have much time, and I don't want to lose out the voice of our viewer tonight, viewers. We're doing this for all of us. It's enough. The time has come when these people who take every rupee off our backs, they are made to answer. The time has come. You just have to hear the shrieks of the people dangling between life and death on that bridge, viewers, to realize what a travesty this is. And that's why we've called it a murder. I want to bring in Archana, who's calling in from Delhi. Archana, good evening. Go ahead with your view.
Good evening, Rahul. The heart-rending tragedy in Morbi district is both shocking and appalling. But when have the people's lives mattered, to these politicians, these corrupt politicians?
Yeah.
They are here to serve themselves and not the people. All they do is indulge in political blame game and passing on the buck. My fundamental question tonight, Rahul, is what is happening with taxpayers' hard-earned money? Accountability needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
Answers sought from these erring politicians and let the heads roll.
Very good point. Siddharth calling in from Bengaluru. Go ahead. Good evening, sir.
Very good evening, Mr. Shivshankar.
Good evening.
I will start beginning first of all that today is our wedding anniversary, and we decided not to celebrate our wedding anniversary. My condolence to all the family members. I pray to God sincerely that those who are injured should get back to their work immediately. Forget about politics, forget about the politicians. I least bother about politics and politicians. I'm sitting here in Bangalore, I'm pained. My wife is shouting at me, please don't watch news channel which is disturbing news are coming. Number two, Rahul, I am happy because मेरे घर का कोई नहीं मरा.
Yeah.
I am happy because मेरे घर का कोई मरा नहीं ना.
Yeah.
This is what? It is a similarity between the deep blue sea and the devil's fish.
I know. I
empathize
with your point of view. Yeah.
It will be buried under the carpet after 1 week. Nobody will be responsible.
We will bring people to account, no doubt. And when Times Now puts its mind to something, the end result.
I completely got disturbed. The punishment should be so severe that no FIR, nothing doing. The punishment should be so severe.
I back you completely. And it is very good of you, very noble of you, to have suspended celebrations. I'm telling you, viewers, we are all shocked. And there is anger and there is pain. And it's going to bubble up. I want to bring in Hari from Bengaluru. Hari, good evening. Go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, Rahul. I just have 2 points to make.
Yes, sir.
One, I think there is a lacking in the system itself. Whenever we have these tragedies, like a building collapse or a bridge collapse, we immediately have this postmortem coming out and saying this doesn't have a occupancy certificate, this doesn't have a fitness certificate, etc., etc. This absence of fitness certificate, occupancy certificate is not unique only for the ones where the tragedy has happened. I think it's a common feature happening everywhere, and there's no system in place to ensure that these things are allowed to operate without the necessary certificates. And we keep on repeating there is a lacking in system, and this needs to be addressed. And secondly, as the right
some news coming in, Mr. Hari. Just some news coming in. I want to also bring in Mr. Murthy and Dr. Ranganathan. I want to show some pictures. The Prime Minister holding a high-level meeting on the Morbi tragedy. The PM is reviewing the situation. My appeal to the Prime Minister tonight, viewers, is to ensure that the FIR, the scope of the FIR is enlarged to name big names, so that no one tomorrow dares to, and let's show you the photographs of that meeting, no one tomorrow dares to play with our lives. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Mr. Murthy calling in from Bengaluru. Mr. Murthy, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I feel that the primary reason is that the bridge was overloaded. Who allowed this overloading?
Yeah.
How did they allow that?
Well, sir.
So who is responsible for that?
That is the question, isn't it? Dr. Ranganathan. People today India is standing in solidarity with each one of those families. Each one of them, isn't it, Dr. Ranganathan?
No, absolutely. And as you said, it's just incalculable tragedy when you think of 50 children who are dead. I mean, I can't even begin to describe. All of us are parents, some of us, and it's just so, I'm lost for words. But very quickly, 3 points. Number one, as you correctly said it, and I think Kapil has also echoed it, there needs to be, if not, some kind of a law of torts, but a class action suit that citizens can inflict upon the government to extract what is only fair share of what their taxpayer money is. And number two, and I ask this again, and very quickly, before I come to this main point, when was and Rahul, remember during the monsoons, I asked you this, did you ever see a pothole or open manhole in Lutyens, Delhi?
No.
No. We need to answer this question. And number three, the BJP doesn't need to go far. I gave you the example in 2017 when 5 people died in a railway accident in UP. Was Suresh Prabhu driving the train? Was he responsible for the accident? And yet he resigned. Prime Minister Modi accepted the resignation and Piyush Goyal was appointed as the railway minister. How on earth has no Gujarat minister resigned so far, is the question that BJP must be asked.
And I don't want to jinx anything, viewers, but since that handover, since that example was set, a lot of things have gone right also on the rail tracks. So accountability, and especially accountability of the kind that pinches, is very, very critical and crucial, viewers. So if all these politicians who are pugilistically making all sorts of tonight claims, attacks on the BJP, etc., and the BJP is defending, if they really mean it, if they really stand with us, they will bring a law tomorrow by convening a special session that will empower you and I, viewers, to ask the real questions and seek the real accountability from these politicians. Will they? That's the test. That's the test. And in the interim, I hope that the Prime Minister asks the Gujarat Chief Minister to go. Nothing less. Nothing less. I want to move on because there have been other developments in the Union Capital, viewers. We don't have much more time on the show, but I'll quickly take this update. We are being told that the homes of two editors of news portal The Wire were searched by the Delhi police. The pictures are on your screens. I want to bring in Bhavtosh, MK Venu and Siddharth Vardarajan. Their homes searched. I don't know if you can call it a raid, but certainly there was a search. Were there seizures? I can see some bags being taken away. What are these? Bhavtosh.
Well, their electronic gadgets, including their iPhones as well as their iPads and MacBook, have been seized. They are founding members as well as editors of The Wire, and these searches happened after the FIR was registered on a private complaint that was given by Amit Malviya, the BJP's IT cell head. Rahul, more importantly, the private complaint that has been given by Siddharth Vardarajan is still being looked into by the crime branch, and Siddharth Vardarajan has in fact deflected the entire blame on Devesh Kumar Singh. Devesh Kumar is the person who should be held responsible for the series of articles that were published blaming Amit Malviya. The crime branch on its part has said that they have seized these electronic gadgets. They will be cloned and then at a later stage will be handed over back to Siddharth Vardarajan, MK Venu and also to Jhanvi Sen. The reason why these electronic gadgets have been seized is because all the correspondence that happened in this case were through these electronic gadgets, but no summons have been issued so far to MK Venu as well as to Siddharth Vardarajan. But one can say that the probe in this high-profile case has started in right earnest now.
Well, let me go straight across. Thanks indeed, Bhavtosh. Let me go straight across to Siddharth Talia, who joins me from the newsroom. Siddharth, now, your namesake, Siddharth Vardarajan, issued a statement and he seems to be suggesting that the entire outfit, The Wire, has been taken for a bit of a ride by their contributor, by their employee.
Absolutely, Rahul. In fact, that statement that you just referred to is in fact a formal complaint that's been sent through email to the Delhi police on the part of The Wire, where Mr. Vardarajan and others, of course, claim that they were at the receiving end of a fraud that had been perpetrated by Devesh Kumar. And I'll just go through some of the contents of that statement, or that complaint rather, which is yet to be converted into an FIR. They say the documents were fabricated and forged by Devesh Kumar, so they're clearly playing victim here, saying that this man who had been hired on contract between the months April 2021 to July 2022 had actually misled the entire editorial staff of The Wire. The question though remains that if his contract expired in the month of July 2022, why was he still providing inputs as a consultant to a story that was being published in the month of October?
Okay.
It also says no basis to suspect details were fraudulent at the time that the stories were actually published, Rahul, which was on 10th of October, and then subsequently until the 17th, where a series of articles were published where even evidence to claim that the articles were authentic were also published. That was later rebutted by Meta. Eventually, The Wire had to come out with an apology.
Well, very strange, very curious. Let me go straight across to Dr. Anand Ranganathan. What do you make of this, this very strange circumstance?
Well, to be very honest with
Devesh
you,
was mentally disturbed all this time.
Yeah, to be very honest with you, it's not strange to me. It is the standard operating procedure of the leftist rule book. Right till the moment when the train wreck happened and the whole Wire story imploded, the editor, the chief editor, the founder and the other people were taking equal share and responsibility for this multitude of stories. They were part of the bylines. And now suddenly they've thrown one of their correspondents or interns under the bus, as if he is the only person responsible. If you look at even the tweets that are still there that haven't been deleted by the Wire editor, Rahul, clearly says that we have been ascertaining the sources, we have been met multiple times, we've been meeting those sources, not just one person who was liaising with the so-called meta source. It was the whole Wire team, and a multitude, half a dozen articles were written on it. The rebuttals came in the shape of a slew of more articles, and now suddenly for them to say, look, we've got nothing to do with this, throw your hands up and say only one person was responsible, and the sundry, the kind of, you can see that the core of the onion is protected, and the other people, the ex-editors of Hindu, are now saying that this was perhaps some kind of a plant to actually a conspiracy against Wire. That this Wire correspondent was in fact conspiring against Wire. These are the so this is, they're all in it. And let me also say this, if they are calling this a witch hunt, this is a standard operating procedure, and the people who've been raided were liaising with, if you remember 10 years ago, one lady called Neera Radia. It all has come back to roost.
Well, it's very interesting. Viewers, of course, allegations have to be proven in a court of law. Mr. Malviya of the Bharatiya Janata Party has decided to take both criminal and civil action. And it's the criminal action that has resulted in these searches on the premises of Mr. Vardarajan and Mr. Venu's homes. I leave it at that, viewers. The news are coming up in just a few moments, where we once again ask troubling questions of the Gujarat state government. Don't go away.
The most pressing issues, the most informed minds, free and fair exchange. Converse India with Rahul Shivshankar.
आपको सब फिल्म स्टार ही चाहिए मथुरा में।
नहीं हेममान
कन्हैया जी ने भक्त चाहिए कल रात की सावन का देंगे ऑल्सो बिकम सांसद बनना चाहेंगे उसको तो आप बनने नहीं देंगे। आप दिमाग में सबको ऐसा डाल के रखेंगे फिल्म स्टार ही बनेगा। आपको सब फिल्म स्टार ही चाहिए मथुरा में।
नहीं हेममान
कन्हैया जी ने भक्त चाहिए कल रात की सावन का देंगे ऑल्सो बिकम बहुत अच्छी बात है।
आपका क्या विचार है इस बार? आप
मेरा विचार क्या मैं बताऊं, मेरा विचार भगवान के ऊपर है। लॉर्ड कृष्णा विल डू इट।
मैं तो देश की सेवा के लिए ही पैदा हुई हूँ और मैं देश की सेवा करना चाहती हूँ और क्यों नहीं हमारे मोदी साहब, हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी चाय बनाते बनाते प्रधानमंत्री जी पीएम बन सकते हैं, तो मैं बॉलीवुड में काम करते करते सीएम क्यों नहीं बन सकती हूँ? डेफिनेटली मैं बनूंगी, आप सबका आशीर्वाद चाहिए। तो 2024 में अब आप मुझे चुनाव लड़ते हुए देखेंगे, किसके अपोजिट, ये सरप्राइज है।
Top stories on the show tonight, viewers.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that campaigns are being run in order to make one Indian language an enemy of another language. Urging students to keep their native language and dialect alive, Union Home Minister Amit Shah said that basic education should be imparted in local languages. BJP National President JP Nadda paid tribute to Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel in Kullu and said that he is the reason behind India's unity. Supreme Court posts for December 6 the hearing of petitions challenging the Citizenship Amendment Act. The court granted 2 weeks to Assam and Tripura to file their responses. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami, while flagging off a Run for Unity marathon, said that PM Modi's Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat campaign is based on Sardar Patel's ideologies. After court rejected application for virtual appearance of ex-West Bengal Minister Partha Chatterjee, he was brought to special CBI court in Alipur in connection with the Bengal School Service Commission scam.
Good evening and welcome to the Newshour at 9. I'm Madhvas Gopalakrishnan. Ladies and gentlemen, the Morbi tragedy has left the nation in a state of shock. Over 130 people, including women and children, were killed when the hanging bridge in Gujarat's Morbi collapsed on Sunday. Several lives were snapped in just few seconds. But there's no one to take the blame. The bridge was reopened on the 26th of October after its repair work was done by a private firm, Oreva. Now, this video is from the inauguration day, where Oreva's managing director Jaisukhbhai Patel could be seen inaugurating the ill-fated bridge by cutting ribbons. What's shocking here is that the firm Oreva had not taken the fitness certificate and the bridge was open for public use without any clearance from the civic authorities. These tickets of death were sold to children and adults beyond the capacity of the bridge. All this under the state's watch. The state government continued to remain ignorant and allowed this to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, this was a tragedy which was a result of human greed, corruption and callousness. The bridge that could barely hold up 100 people was packed with 400. Now, hours after the collapse, the police has arrested 9 people. 2 managers of the firm Morbi, 2 contractors, 3 security guards and 2 ticket clerks, believe it or not. Not even one senior administration official has even been named in the FIR. Who's shielding these people? The Morbi tragedy was nothing short of murder. Is the state giving patronage to the killers? We'll ask these questions tonight. But first, let's play out some of the heart-rending accounts of survivors who witnessed the horror unfold in front of their eyes and lost their dear ones in a flash.
अंदर गए ना तो सीधा हम जो खड़े थे ना वैसे ही पुल टूट गया, फिर सामने से टूटा, सब पानी के ऊपर डगमग था। हमें रुक के, क्योंकि हमको डर लगता था, इसलिए मैंने मेरे दोस्त को कहा कि 5 मिनट रुको, थोड़ा पब्लिक कम हो जाए फिर जाते। तो फिर टिकट 5 मिनट के बाद अंदर गए ना तो सीधा पुल नीचे आया, तो मैं तो पुल के ऊपर पड़ा, मेरे दोस्त सब पुल के नीचे दब गए। फिर मैंने निकाला सबको, दोनों मेरे 2 दोस्त थे ना, उसको निकाला ने, एक छोटी बच्ची थी 6 साल की, उसको निकाला। आधा घंटे के लिए कोई नहीं हेल्प किया, सब वीडियो ने फोटो देखते रहे। सामने इतने थे, सामने पूरा पुल भरा हुआ था। इस साल 50 से 100 आदमी थे, मेरे दोस्त में सब सामने बहुत थे, इसलिए
3 टिकट लग गए, 3 दोस्त थे हम।
बाकी के कहाँ हैं?
हम दोनों तो बच गए, लेकिन एक दोस्त नहीं था, फिरोज नाम था उसका।
जब आप वहाँ गए तो रोका नहीं किसी ने आपको?
नहीं रोका, किसी ने नहीं रोका।
अंदाज से उस पुल पे कितने लोग मौजूद होंगे शाम के?
500-600 लोग, ज़्यादा लोग थे।
पुल अचानक से गिर ही गया था, कैसे गिरा मालूम नहीं, गिर ही गया था बीच में से। बीच चलने का आता है ना, वही निकल गया था पूरा का पूरा, सब लोग नीचे ही गिर गए थे पानी। छोटे छोटे बच्चे थे, बड़ों को तो तैरना आता होगा, छोटे छोटे बच्चों को तैरना नहीं आता।
बोल नहीं सकती अब मैं, बहुत बुरा हुआ, बच्चे लोग भी थे, बहुत मैं बोल नहीं सकती, इतना मेरे को दुख लगा है। जो कोविड में था ने, उससे ज्यादा भी मेरे को आज बहुत तकलीफ हुई है।
The state may have turned a blind eye to the Morbi tragedy, but the Prime Minister today broke down as he remembered Morbi victims during his speech in Banaskantha in Gujarat. Even the Prime Minister said that he had never experienced such pain in his life. Listen in.
हादसे की खबर मिलने के बाद ही गुजरात के मुख्यमंत्री श्रीमान भूपेंद्र भाई रात को ही मोरबी पहुंच गए थे। कल से ही वो राहत और बचाव के कार्यों की कमान संभाले हुए हैं। राज्य सरकार की तरफ से इस हादसे की जांच के लिए एक कमेटी भी बना दी गई है। मैं देश के लोगों को आश्वस्त करता हूं कि राहत और बचाव के कार्यों में कोई कमी नहीं आने दी जाएगी। आज राष्ट्रीय एकता दिवस का यह अवसर भी हमें एकजुट होकर इस मुश्किल घड़ी का सामना करने, कर्तव्य पथ पर बने रहने की प्रेरणा दे रहा है। काले मोरबी में आ भयंकर पीड़ादायक, मन बहुत व्यथित હતું। હું દુવિધામાં હતો કે આ વિકાસના કામો છે, બનાસકાંઠામાં પાણીનું મહાત્મ્ય કેટલું છે હું જાણું છું। કાર્યક્રમ કરું કે ન કરું, પરંતુ આપનો પ્રેમ, આપના પ્રત્યેનો મારો સેવાભાવ અને કર્તવ્યથી બંધાયેલા મારા સંસ્કાર, એના કારણે મન મજબૂત કરીને તમારી વચ્ચે આવ્યો।
However, there are those who won't even shy away from politicizing such tragedies. Opposition has raised questions on the free pass given to the private firm by the state, and netas from the Congress, the TMC and the TRS even hurled Maut Ka Pass, an act of fraud, taunts to the Prime Minister. The opposition today asked the Prime Minister to go back in history when, after the 2016 Kolkata flyover collapse, the PM had said that the collapse was a signal from God that Mamta's government would also collapse in Bengal. Let's listen in to the war of words that had erupted after the Morbi disaster.
Very, very, very awful thing that has happened, and certainly very strict action should be taken. And apparently the company that was given this contract, the owner is close to the BJP ministers, and now what is most unfortunate is that BJP supporters are trying to put the blame on the people. They were shaking it, they were doing this, they were doing that. That's not the point. The point is you are responsible, your government is responsible.
Give our deepest condolences to the families. Main objective right now is to save lives. Then the government of Gujarat is answerable.
First of all, I beg to differ so far the death toll is concerned. And some political party, they have asked for CBI probe. I wonder and I doubt, and I am sure CBI is being controlled by the remote control from the drawing room of Gujarat. How can we expect that CBI will be probing into independently and neutrally?
जो भी लोग इस ब्रिज बनाने में इन्वॉल्व है, इतना जल्दी ये जो ब्रिज दुरुस्त करने के 5 दिन जो पहले उद्घाटन हुआ और 5-6 दिन में ही कोलैप्स हुआ, ये क्या कारण है? और इतने लोगों को छोड़ने की कोशिश किसने की? इसका सारा एक इंक्वायरी होना चाहिए.
Many questions still remain unanswered, and the state must not forget that it has a duty towards its people. The truth of Morbi must come out at any cost, and that brings me to the legitimate question tonight. Can the state wash its hands of the Morbi tragedy?
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Alright, let's take this across to our guest. Joining us with us is Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of the BJP. Also with us is Karan Verma, author. Kailash Adhikari is MD of Governance Now. Shailesh Gandhi is a former CIC. We have with us also Tehseen Poonawalla, political analyst, and Dr. Shantanu Sen. Alright, I'm told that we have with us Ghanshyam Tiwari, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, who's also with us. Let me begin first and foremost, Sanju Verma, with you. You know, it's a massive tragedy. There's no two ways about it. But look at what's happening in terms of even the action and the response. We have seen 9 arrests. All of them are people who are small fry. The big fish, the owner of the company, are all still out there. No action has been taken against them, which is leading many to ask about the seriousness in terms of response to this particular tragedy.
You know, Madhav, first and foremost, to your show, I would like to offer my deepest condolences to the families of the deceased. It's a horrific tragedy, and I don't think it needs to be politicized, but certain facts need to be put out in the public domain. And I'll say this for the record, that let the SIT report come out. That should be out in less than 48 hours. It's a 5-member team which was constituted barely within hours of the tragedy happening. A forensic audit is also underway, and no fish, big or small, will be spared, because I would like to take this opportunity to say that there are 2 theories doing the rounds. I've been watching your channel also since yesterday evening. There are some stakeholders who are privy to the contract between the Morbi Nagar Palika and the Ajanta group, saying that a NOC was not required to open the bridge to the public, whereas there is another group of
Ma'am, a bridge collapses. I'm very sorry if the
yes,
fitness certificate, the NOC, all of those are certainly points that have been made. But the larger question is, if a bridge collapses in 5 days, will you not hold that company and the authorities responsible? Simple question.
Madhav, I was answering your question. Please indulge me for 30 seconds. It's a sensitive topic. I need to answer the pointed question you asked.
Yes, but this is in response to what you just said. I'm not I'm not stopping you from talking, but what you said is that a certificate is not required, an NOC is not required. That does not change the accountability aspect of this, Sanju Verma.
No. Let me finish. Please don't misquote me. I said there are 2 theories doing the rounds.
please do not misquote me. One theory that the NOC was not required, and the second theory which says that indeed a fitness certificate was required, indeed a NOC was required. So my question is, without beating around the bush, if a fitness certificate was required, which is the only practical way to expect things to work, then how is it that the bridge was working for 5 days on 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and people from the Nagar Palika who need to keep a watch on such aspects, what were they doing? And if indeed heads need to roll, let them roll. But equally, whether big or small fish from Ajanta Group need to be nagged, that is not
Sanju
the
Verma.
moot point. The moot point is also
Sanju Verma.
Was
There are a number of violations here. This is not the only violation. Tickets were being sold, 17 rupee tickets being sold at 50 rupees. The fact that this company had a contract from 2008 to 2018 and the bridge was still in a very poor condition at that point of time and is again given the contract several years later. All of this raises some serious questions of the administration. What were they doing? How did they allow so many people on the bridge?
Needs to be nailed. I started by saying, Madhav, heads should roll, and whoever is responsible, be it from the Nagar Palika, be it people from the Ajanta Group, big or small, ticket collectors, promoters, security guards, DM, SDM, if there has been any lackadaisical attitude on their part, I started by saying accountability, transparency are the hallmarks of the last 27 years of the Modi government, and we will not compromise on that.
All right, let me bring in some of the other spokespersons now. Ghanshyam Tiwari, accountability is a hallmark of the BJP government. We've not seen any yet in terms of any ministers or even the chief minister taking accountability yet. Does this explanation really make sense to you about whether the NOC or the fitness certificate was required or not? Isn't that just immaterial to the scale of this tragedy?
Good evening, Madhav, to you, my fellow co-panelists and the viewers, and my condolences to every family who's lost a loved one in this tragedy. I must also salute those who immediately jumped into action to save and averted many more loss of lives. As far as accountability is concerned, where do we start? Sanju Verma, BJP spokesman, said there are two theories. There's only one theory. What is act of fraud? Did what the Prime Minister say in 2016 on Bengal collapse, was that an act of fraud? Or what the Prime Minister said today was an act of fraud? That is one. Second, this is not it's not an elected Chief Minister. This is a selected Chief Minister. We saw the Chief Minister running behind the Prime Minister's car after he was disallowed from the Prime Minister car. The state administration is a puppet in front of the Modi administration, who can choose to release the convicts of Bilkis Bano. So that is the kind of puppetry that goes on. So if heads have to roll, it has to be at the central level, because they have appointed this cabinet, they appointed the Chief Minister. The third point, who are the people in this 5-member committee? Is there any senior person of stature in this 5-member committee? This is a 5-member committee of 4 IAS officers and 1 IPS officer. Do you think that where the Chief Minister is disallowed from sitting in the Prime Minister's car, is seen on camera running behind the Prime Minister's car like an ordinary man, not even like an ordinary man, even the voters don't run behind.
Okay.
These five IAS
officers will be able to do the final point. The key is, did this company donate to Bharatiya Janata Party or not? Bharatiya Janata Party runs the richest party, runs the most expensive elections. And what is the Prime Minister doing in Gujarat?
The number of points you're making there. We'll go one by one. We're not running away from any of those points. But Sanju Verma, I want to come to the first point that he made, because I think that is a very important point. The BJP certainly cannot have double standards. When we are accusing one particular state government, demanding action as far as that government is concerned, calling it an act of God in West Bengal, how can there be a different yardstick in Gujarat?
May I come in, Madhav?
Yes, please.
Yes. So, I started by saying that heads should roll, and accountability is something that we believe in, and we walk the talk on that 99% of the time, if not 100%. As far as...
So what action will be taken, ma'am? What action will be taken?
Madhav, I just want to say that let the outcome of the forensic audit be out. Let the recommendations of the SIT be out. No one will be spared I'm saying this very categorically.
No, that's as far as the investigation is concerned. But then when it comes to politics, there is also the question of morality and public accountability and the collective accountability of the cabinet. We've seen ministers resign even at the national level, whether it is Nitish Kumar after a train accident, whether it is Sudesh Prabhu in this very government. So, ma'am, should that standard of a scale of a disaster so big, should that not, or a man-made murder so big, should there be no accountability?
Madhav, if on your channel, I've also heard reportage that sections 304 of the IPC, 308 of the IPC and 114 of the IPC, these are non-bailable, especially 304 culpable homicide, 308 attempts to culpable homicide and 114 abettor present on the site. My limited point is that let the forensic audit tell us whether it was gross negligence, whether it was oversight, who all were involved, or whether there was sabotage, or whether it was a confluence.
Well, all I will say, Sanju Verma, is that to the best of my knowledge, in the past when there have been big railway accidents, for instance, there's been no forensic audit. Ministers have immediately owed up moral responsibility. Let me bring in Tehseen on that point.
The Gujarat Home Minister has said that a forensic audit is underway. He said that on your channel.
Be that as it may, this is about fixing accountability and setting out a larger message. When we ask for other chief ministers' resignations, whether Mamata Banerjee or Mr. Ashok Gehlot, the same yardstick has to be applied everywhere, particularly in such cases.
Madhav, 10 seconds on the SIT bit. 10 seconds on the SIT bit.
Yes, all right. Let me bring in others, please. You made that point. You made that point. Let's bring in others. Let's bring in others to what you just said. Let me get a quick response from Tehseen. Tehseen Punawala.
At the onset, I want to offer my deepest condolences to those who've lost their loved ones in this man-made tragedy. And this is something that we need to, beyond politics, pause, stop and think about and ask some very pertinent questions like you're rightly asking. Let me ask the question that Ghanshyam ended with.
Did this company buy electoral bonds donate to the Bharatiya Janata Party? Now, the reason why this becomes very important, and I request the BJP spokesperson to put those details out openly. We know that from 2008, this is not a company that specializes in bridges. It specializes in CFL bulbs and watches, etc. And there were complaints about the bridges. So why was this company again given the contract? That's number one. Number two, as Sanju is repeatedly speaking about the SIT. Now, what is this SIT? This SIT is a bunch of bureaucrats. Who are these bureaucrats? It's a fancy term given to some bureaucrats who are going to make a response. Why isn't the sitting judge of the Gujarat High Court or the sitting judge of the Honorable Supreme Court in charge of this? So that nobody can count their impartiality. Who is an IAS officer to look at this thing? An IAS officer is only going to do what his master asks him to do. And with no casting your aspersion to an IAS officer, we know how this works in our country.
Okay.
Point number three. Let's come to the more pertinent point that I want to ask. Arresting a watchman or arresting clerks, how are they responsible? Ultimately, the buck has to stop somewhere at the end. When a Nagar Palika or a Zilla Parishad allows people to continue to go on bridges, are you telling me that in the state of Gujarat, which is one of our most developed states, the state government and the local administration did not know that a bridge was illegally inaugurated? People were being charged money to go in there. How can anyone shirk that responsibility? And my last question that I would like to ask, will the BJP spokesperson today on the show apologize to the country for some of the fake videos that were put out, blaming people who were on the bridge for this collapse and calling it a conspiracy?
Okay.
Will he apologize for that?
Okay, several questions. I'm going to allow Sanju to respond to them and then I'll go across to other panelists. I thank the others for their patience. Sanju Verma, number of questions coming away. Links of the party and that company, wrong images being put out of people responsible for the bridge collapse when clearly the authorities are at fault here.
Okay. Tehseen made a couple of points and I will answer each one very quickly. First, he said that, this company that is making wall clocks and watches, and how can you give it a bridge renovation contract? So, let me tell you, the Ajanta Oreva group is involved in textiles, construction equipment, even planning to manufacture electric cars. So, it's not limited to wall clocks. They have done construction. So this was a contract given on PPP basis, public-private partnership for 15 long years. You are wrong factually there. They don't manufacture just wall clocks. Second point you said was that this SIT is full of lame duck bureaucrats.
Just to correct
you asked a few questions, please. Now let me answer. The SIT is headed by Commissioner of Municipalities Rajkumar Beniwal, and other members of the secretary are the Road and Buildings Department Secretary Sandeep Vasava, IG Police Subhash Trivedi, and 2 engineers. So you have senior bureaucrats The current municipal commissioner is heading the SIT. He's not a lame duck person, Tehsil. Point
The same
number 3.
municipal
You said,
commissioner
we
allowed
made a
this to function.
scapegoat. Tehsil, I did not heckle you.
The same municipal commissioner.
Then
Let me come in here. Why not going for a judicial inquiry, madam? Why not have an agency of the national level come and probe this entire matter? Why are we going with a bureaucrat-led inquiry? That's, I think, a very pertinent question. Don't we deserve a higher level inquiry? And will the inquiry ultimately fix responsibility?
Madhav, on your show, I also heard the ex-Deputy Chief Minister of Gujarat saying that just because 9 people have been arrested who happen to be ticket collectors or security guards, or just because a 5-member SIT of bureaucrats and technocrats has been formed, that does not stop the government from
Ma'am, not one official has been named in the FIR. Let me also acquaint you with some facts. Not one official has been named in the FIR yet. That is point number 1. Not one senior person of the company is behind bars or has even been questioned till now. That is point number 2. And point number 3, which is a very pertinent one, and I think that is the one that the opposition leaders here are asking, spokespersons are asking, is that if it is an officer who reports to the same Gujarat government that is to be held to account, how can they be expected to do a free inquiry? And in fact, just to give us a sense of the kind of responses coming in from the Gujarat government, let's take a look at what the response was when one of the ministers today was questioned by our reporter, completely evading, not even addressing the question, and believe it or not, he has the audacity to say that I'm not here for you. He's not there for the citizens of Gujarat who are in complete shock and pain. Listen in.
We want to ask you that ब्रिज का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऐसा क्यों दिया गया? कोई चेक्स एंड बैलेंसेस क्यों नहीं होता है? इनोसेंट लाइफ का लॉ, इनोसेंट लाइफ की जो जान जाती है वो इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं होती है क्या? यू आर जस्ट मूविंग आउट ऑफ योर सिक्योरिटी पर्सन इज जस्ट पुशिंग मी, एवरीथिंग इज फाइन. आई एम आस्किंग यू वेरी सिंपल क्वेश्चन.
I am very to answer you only that answer. Here I am came for see to patient. No more comments regarding.
You have to answer Gujarati, sir. Your Gujaratis who have voted you, who have made you mantri, and you are accountable to them, sir. And you have to answer them. Basically, what we are asking you over here is that why proper checks and balances were not being done. Your bodyguard is pushing me now. You can push. He's pushing me now. I am not lying to you. You are not answering me questions. By pushing media person like this, can your accountability set in? Can justice be given? I'm asking you, can justice be given? See, he's pushing me like this. He's pushing me like this. You're going to set accountability?
Please.
Like this?
Hello, Awad.
Like this, you're setting accountability. I'm seriously.
Please off your camera. Please off.
I'm asking you.
Off your camera.
आपको एक ग्रीन कॉरिडोर मिल जाता है, पर वो आम आदमी को ग्रीन कॉरिडोर नहीं मिलता है, सर. वो आम आदमी के फैमिली मेंबर को वो ग्रीन कॉरिडोर और वैसी सुविधाएं नहीं मिलती है. वही अनफॉर्चुनेट है सर, वही अनफॉर्चुनेट चीज है. और ये हमेशा होता है, इसलिए हम बार बार आपसे प्रश्न पूछते हैं. सर, आपको आपके बॉडीगार्ड लेके जाते हैं धक्का मार के. अगर कोई नेता वहां पे गिर जाता तो उसको बचाया जाता बॉडीगार्ड की तरफ से, बट वैसा वो आम आदमी को नहीं बचा सकते ना, उनके पास वो सुविधाएं नहीं है. इसके लिए हम आपके पीछे आ रहे हैं, सर. सो यू सी, यू बीन सीइंग दिस नेता एज वेल, he's been avoiding our questions, he's been trying to move out. हम आपको एक सिंपल क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हैं कि वो चेक्स एंड बैलेंसेस वो जो करने चाहिए थे वो क्यों नहीं किए गए, सर? इसका आंसर हमें दीजिए.
હવે कोई बात में जबरदस्ती ना हो.
आपका ब्रेथ लीजिए फिर बोलिए, ठीक है? समझ सकते हैं, सीढ़ी से आए, ब्रेथ लीजिए बोलिए.
You are kindly listen me. Here I am coming only for patient, not for you.
तो पहले अगर
मैं आपको हाथ जोड़ के विनंती करता हूँ कि मीडिया का इतना बड़ा आप मिसयूज मत कीजिए. मेरा हमारी सरकार का, हमारा बचपन का ऐसा मत.
हम आपको एक प्रश्न पूछेंगे.
थैंक यू. ये स्थान
आप पेशेंट के लिए आए, बट आप लोगों के लिए आए होते तो पेशेंट नहीं बनते. हम इनको ये बोल रहे हैं, अगर आप लोगों के लिए खड़े होते तो वो पेशेंट नहीं बनते, वो मरते नहीं. इसके लिए हम आपको पूछ रहे हैं. आप पेशेंट के लिए हमेशा बताइए, लोगों के लिए आइए.
Let me take this across to Shailesh Gandhi. Shailesh Gandhi, no accountability, no answerability, no answers. हम पेशेंट के लिए आए, आपके लिए नहीं आए. This person is a minister in the Gujarat cabinet.
First and foremost, I ask for forgiveness from the 132 people who died. I ask for forgiveness from the relatives. As an Indian citizen, I am ashamed. I ask for forgiveness. Condolences moved her. Are we going to apologize to those young people who died for the carelessness of the entire state? Is this the India of 2022? Is this the India we are proud of? Is this 75 years of independence? What is the meaning of this? I am ashamed. And first and foremost, I as an Indian citizen take responsibility and ask for forgiveness. There is no forgiveness, there is no improvement, there is no sense of shame. What should happen is there should be a sense of shame and saying, oh my God, 130 of my Indians have died because of carelessness. A bridge breaking down like this, what are the excuses in it? No. And if I was the minister or the chief minister, I would resign because I would say I ask for forgiveness for the 132 people who have died. Ask for forgiveness first. That should be the first thing. Forget condolences. Your condolences don't matter. Nobody's condolences matter. The first thing is ask for forgiveness. Show that you care. Ministers should say, we resign from our positions because we are taking responsibility and ownership. In India, the highest do not take responsibility and ownership, and that is the real problem. Everybody offers condolences. Nobody wants condolences. People want to know why do they have to die? To show the carelessness and carelessness of a system. Was the contractor really capable of handling this? Did the people who gave the permissions really make any effort to do anything? Did the people at the top set up adequate systems to ensure that this would be safeguarded? It appears none of it has been done. And I'm sorry, but even the political representatives seem to be condoling everything. Ask for forgiveness, all of us. Let's bow down and ask for forgiveness of the people who died and their relatives. As an Indian, I feel like that. I don't know what the others do.
I completely understand your sentiment, Shailesh Gandhi. This is, of course, a moment that has shocked citizens, shocked them beyond words. And Sanju Verma, I think as a citizen who is crying, pleading over here, Shailesh Gandhi says, why not just apologize and seek forgiveness? That's the first step in accountability, isn't it? Leave alone resignations. This is the kind of attitude we have of ministers who say, I'm not here for you.
Madhav, on your channel, I apologize. I ask for forgiveness from Mr. Gandhi and on behalf of that minister in Gujarat who was so dismissive when, confronted by a reporter. The only area where I disagree with Mr. Gandhi is, simply having the chief minister or ministers resign means that, you allow people to get away scot-free when a tragedy of such magnanimous proportions has taken place, gargantuan proportions has taken place. I think anybody who sits in the chair, the buck stops at his or her doorstep. And as I said in the past, whether it is the bureaucrats, the ministers or people from Morbi, Mahanagarpalika, they will need to be accountable and heads will roll. I can assure you of that.
All right, heads will roll. Shailesh Gandhi and Sanju Verma, stay with us. Let me quickly bring in some of our other panelists. Kailash Adhikari, your response to this kind of a statement coming in. I mean, end of the day, this shows utter lack of sensitivity. Leave alone the administrative lapses and loopholes that we've been discussing. But despite such a huge tragedy, how can you have this kind of a statement? All he had to do was fold his hands and say that we are sorry for what has happened. Instead, he says, we are not here for you.
Absolutely, Madhav. Firstly, condolences to the entire family who have lost their near and dear ones in this unfortunate tragedy. We have seen condolences pouring in from across the world because we have seen such a tragedy. And on the exclusive the video played out right now by Times Now reporter, and the way he was heckled by the bodyguard of the minister and the way the minister shunned away questions completely shows non-compassion, completely shows non-accountability. And be it any private organization who was given the contract, be it any municipality, be it any government institution, or be it any individual, be it whether it's in bureaucracy or administration or even at the ministerial level, they must be held accountable. We have seen there have been instances in the past, right from Lal Bahadur Shastri ji, where a simple incident, Madhav, had occurred and he had resigned. Right from him to Suresh Prabhu ji to Nitish Kumar ji, we have seen those kind of examples. And being in public life means that, you know, when you are a representative, when you are a people's representative, when you are there in the state assembly or in the central assembly, you are de facto accountable. And if such a grave incident has occurred where people have lost their life, minors have lost their life. I mean, the current count that we know is 45, and that is so painful. The people had gone there to spend some evening, and that bridge was hardly renovated 5 days ago. And where 100 people, the capacity is 100 people, 400 people were allowed. Now, why is that? Why were the ticket prices inflated?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, these are questions which are burning, and these requires answer quicker, because here the human lives matter, Madhav. So anyone held responsible, right from the minister to the security guard there, must be held accountable.
Well, absolutely. And let me take that question across to Karan Verma. Karan Verma, whether it's Mumbai, whether it's Morbi, year after year we see citizens falling in potholes, dying, there's flooding that happens, but nobody cares. Because in India, lives are cheap. Aam aadmi bhaad mein jaye. Few people will die, that's all that will happen. Here 140 odd people have died, that's all. That's how much we care. That's how much administration cares.
That's actually the sad tragedy, Madhav. You just hit the nail on its head. Our lives are trivial for politicians all across the board. And this is something which is bipartisan. I mean, this has happened in all regimes, under all sorts of governments, and as much as the things change, they remain the same. Truth is, it will not change till those who collect our taxes, they are hurt. Till they learn a lesson that they will not be elected until and unless these issues which matter to the common man, which matter to their lives of their close ones, till these are not addressed, they will not get our votes, they will not get our taxes, they will be made to eat their words and come to the table and solve these issues. Madhav, I'll make one important point here. There are some systemic changes that need to be done in allotment of tenders and infrastructure projects, and I have been observing this and writing about this for a very long time. Many times it so happens that when there is a maintenance project or a repair project, generally it is the lowest bidder who is awarded the tender. There are two categories of awarding a tender. One is the technical bid, the other is the financial. Unfortunately today, there is not a level playing field, and it has been happening across the states. Only big groups which have deep financial pockets are allowed to bid for projects. As a result, whether they lack on merit or not, they do an MOU or sublet it
to someone else
and back that contract.
That's a very important point.
Precisely that has happened. Precisely that has happened here. Ajanta has actually backed this contract and sublet it to a smaller group who has the expertise.
I'm going to come back to that point.
We do not.
There is the aspect of profiteering.
Quality a criterion.
Tickets are priced at 17, being sold at 50. Obviously, there's an aspect of profiteering because 100 people are allowed, 500 end up on the bridge. All of this points to unethical practices and profiteering very clearly, and that's the point that larger point that you're making, Karan Verma. I'm going to come back to that because Riju Datta also joins us on the panel. But before I go across to Riju Datta, we're asking you, our viewers, call us, tell us, who should be held accountable for this tragedy? Can the Netas get away? Can the Babus get away this time round? What's the action that you want to see happening on ground? And let me go across to our viewers who are with us. Gopinath is with us from Chennai. Yes, Gopinath.
Good evening, good evening, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Please go ahead.
Om Shanti for the persons who lost their life. I have only one thing to say. No loss to be needed now. An ordinance should come immediately with immediate effect. Neither the Congress nor the SP nor the TMC will allow the parliament bill to be passed. They'll jump on the table and it will go. The ordinance should come and let the ordinance be provided for some time. After that, they'll let them come back to the parliament as a bill. So immediately, I request with forward answer to our Prime Minister, let him bring an ordinance to put an end to all this nonsense, because bill will never come in the Parliament.
Let's
These
bring a bill in
people
Parliament.
never
Mr.
allowed-
Gopinath, I think that's a very important point you're making. Accountability has to be fixed. How can the bureaucrats and the politicians responsible for making such decisions that kill people be allowed to get away with it? Should there be no accountability? Let's go across to our next viewer. Dr. Singh is with us from Goa. Yes, Dr. Singh.
Hello.
Yes, Dr. Singh, please go ahead. You're live on national
I
television.
just wanted to say it's a national tragedy and we are all shocked to hear this. However, we do not want that there should be an endless debate on this as to how the situation and accountability should start. We should try to go forward, contact those families, take care of them, and rather than getting and making a TRP out of their certain comments talking, this thing should be done, that thing should be done, please let the government will do it.
Dr. Singh, I very strongly disagree with you. Fixing accountability is as much a job of the media as it is a demand of citizens who have been talking right now on this issue. So let's, while certainly of course we need to take care of the victims and ensure that they receive the best care, fixing accountability is very, very important in such kind of national scale tragedies. We have David also with us from Cochin. Yes, David.
Oh, yes. Generally, I used to be in Gujarat as my daughter is there. So I was breathtaking when this happened, but she called me in the same evening from Jamnagar. So what a pathetic situation. One of your panelists told it is rightly not to the lowest bidder. There are companies like L&T, so many other companies who can do the work very responsibly. How these people can then, they should be jailed if any found any civic authorities or even up to the level of ministers.
All right, thank you so much for joining us, Mr. David. Let me take those questions across to Riju Datta. Riju Datta, new law should be brought in Parliament. The fact that there should be accountability fixed for these individuals and such corporates who are engaging in unethical practices.
Madhav, first of all, my deepest condolences to the family of the bereaved. But I will categorically say this, that it is a very, very tragic incident, but it is not an accident. It's plain and simple murder due to negligence. Negligence of the bureaucrats, negligence of the company that is responsible for maintenance of the bridge. There are a lot of technicalities. I'm not going to go into the technicalities, but there are some pertinent questions because I belong to a political party. I will ask those questions. Number one, when will people be held accountable? Number two, the Prime Minister has already set up a high-level committee, but why CBI is not involved in this? Because this is a criminal offense. It is not just an accident. Number three, and a company which has no experience other than making bulbs and clocks, why has been given a tender of a bridge? Number four, so is it casualty due to cut money? And number five, when the Posta flyover fell in Bengal and 27 people lost their lives, the Honorable Prime Minister said that the people of Bengal are punished by God because of the sins of Trinamool Congress. So is it because of the sins of BJP that the people of Gujarat are punished? That also needs to be answered now.
Okay, quick response from Sanju Verma, then I go across to our callers. Sanju Verma.
Let me be very clear that, while I agree with a lot of points made by Karan and even some of your viewers, one point which is wrong and should be corrected by some panelists is that Ajanta Manufacturing Limited, the Oreva Group, has a turnover in excess of 800 crore. They are the ones who were maintaining the bridge even between 2008 to 2018. I am not condoning what happened. All I'm saying is they have had past experience. So they are not amateurs or people with no experience who were given a contract out of some commercial or ulterior motive as prima facie things stand. And point number two, Riju Datta, I did not wish to politicize, but in 2016, when the Vivekananda flyover collapsed, one of India's noted construction experts, Biranchi Acharya, said it happened because of the use of substandard material, and Mamata Banerjee's dispensation, including the then PWD Minister Firhad Hakim, knew that substandard material was being used but still gave approval to the entire project despite negative test reports being submitted to Mamata Banerjee.
Okay.
So don't compare apples with oranges.
Yes, but the BJP also then demanded accountability, so the same accountability has to be fixed, the same yardstick has to be fixed in Gujarat then, because otherwise there's no difference. Quick response from Riju, since you've particularly named his party's government. Riju Datta.
By by the Mamata Banerjee.
Yes, one quick response. In every non-BJP ruled state, whenever there is a tragedy, BJP sends some of their stools of the parliament for a fact-finding committee. Where is the fact-finding committee here and what are the pointers? Number one. And number two, if you allege that Vivekananda flyover fell due to cut money, so who took the cut money in the BJP Gujarat incident? Can you answer? Can you answer who took the cut money in Gujarat? How do you sleep at night? A 2-year-old dead body was recovered from the river. How do you sleep at night?
Who supported the perpetrators?
141 dead, 45 children, and one 2-year-old died. How do you look at your
I think end of the day, it is about fixing accountability, and I think more than politicians today, people want to hear what the citizens of this country think, and therefore I'm going to go across to some more viewers. We have with us MB Rao from Bangalore. Yes, Mr. Rao.
Yeah, Madhav, first of all, really regrettable that such I have only one question. Whenever any I'm using the word bush, where people don't die, it derails. The station master, even if a big station is suspended. In this case, 130 plus people have suffered and some of them have died. Why is it that the top guys are not suspended? If they are not guilty, they can be restored back to the position. But the first and foremost thing which the authority should do is suspend those people who are involved directly or indirectly.
Right.
Why is it that has not been done?
Well, the only ones who've been acted upon at the moment at least are very junior people, and that's the unfortunate reality of what's happening in Morbi. We have another viewer with us, Vinu from Hyderabad. Yes, Vinu.
Good evening, Madhav. First of all, my condolences to all the families, who lost their near and dears. My question will be, here we see all the panelists, pointing at each other, pointing at each other and bringing up instances of what happens in each of the parties. But, what we clearly don't see is that, who is accountable and who's taking that responsibility of what has happened. Because the lives that are lost, cannot be brought back. So how, as a, political parties can come together and see that as human tragedy and ensure that this kind of thing does not happen again in the future.
Absolutely. And I'm going to take that question across to Ghanshyam Tiwari. Ghanshyam Tiwari, I think the viewer has a very pertinent point, because this lack of accountability is something that we see across the board. In this case, of course, it is the BJP government that has to show some spine and show that it can take action against the ministers or the chief ministers involved. But that's something that is a problem with all political parties, isn't it, Ghanshyam Tiwari, in this country?
Well, three things. One is, in a democracy, the accountability comes from functioning institutions, including media, including the judiciary, including the citizens and civil societies. And then you ask question that how many of these institutions are functioning in Gujarat. Point number two, in this particular case, even in this debate of few minutes, we have said that there's some issue with Nagarpalika, we said some issue with road construction. Who are the people in the SIT? The Secretary of Municipalities, who's responsible for that. The other person, the Secretary of Road Construction. So, forget accountability. Again, what you see is puppeteering. The people who must be probed are now probing what happened. The third and final point, even on this debate, if the BJP spokesperson is defending Ajanta Group, you can imagine what is going to happen. Now, BJP is a spokesperson for Ajanta Group, not for the people of Gujarat, not for the families who lost their lives, not for the accountability. They are saving those who must be held responsible, and that is the state of affairs in the country today. So I think your caller is absolutely right, but the accountability in this country, in this the dictatorial format of Bharatiya Janata Party, should start from citizens, should start from press. Each of us hold the torch of accountability to a government.
I'm going to let Karan Verma respond to those charges. Karan Verma, before I go across to our other viewers.
Accountability also stems from being specific. Till we do not have specific solutions, we are going to unfortunately repeat the same mistakes. Here the biggest problem is, what was the criteria of these engineers? The engineers of Morbi Nagarpalika, they are the ones who are directly responsible for what has happened. What was their criteria of reopening this? And what was their criteria of awarding this tender? Was it past experience? Did they know that Ajanta Group has subletted to another group? If yes, then why was that group not contacted in the first place if they had the expertise? I think these are the specific questions. Until and unless we don't get answers and we keep politicizing by digging up old videos of 2016, 18, we are going to do a great disservice to the lives lost.
Okay.
To ensure something like this doesn't happen, let's be specific on the topic, on the points. Where did it go wrong? Was it an engineering fault? Was it an allocation fault? Was it a procurement fault? Till we don't address that, we are not going to get the problem solved.
Well, we certainly need to address that, but we also need to fix accountability, as we've been repeatedly saying. I'm coming to other panelists. Let's quickly go across to other viewers with us. Varun is with us from Bengaluru. Yes, Varun.
Good evening. Good evening. I mourn the loss of many innocent lives, and I just have two very small questions. Was the standard operating procedure followed? Just following up on what Karan said, and also, is the worth of life in India just 4 lakhs? This is a very sad day indeed.
Well, that's a question that many are asking, Varun. I share your sentiment completely, and thanks so much for joining us. Let's go across to our next viewer, Girish from Pune. Yes, Girish.
As an engineer, I see a problem differently. It could be a pure technical problem, which none of you are discussing. Number one.
Go ahead.
Such bridge have been collapsed without any load because of resonance in US, and there is a video available on YouTube. Please look at that. And regarding accountability, yes, first identify the actual reason, then you fix an accountability. Before finding reason, you are trying to guess who should be accountable, and especially from the Samajwadi Party is an engineer. He should be not talking like this.
So the larger question, at least in politics, is a matter of principle and morality. And of course, if it is later known that that individual is not responsible, all those suspended can be reinstated. But there is a tradition, as another viewer was telling us, of fixing accountability and owing moral responsibility. Let me go across to our next viewer who's with us, Rajkumar from Cochin. Yes, Rajkumar.
Actually, it's a tragedy to see that whenever such a tragedy strikes, we get all these politician gyanis who come and blame each other. I think the first thing you guys should do on the TV, you should get the experts. Because as a citizen, on a tragic day, what we want to hear is why this has happened. That is the first thing. Not all these pseudo gyan which these guys give and blame it each other. Point number one. Point number two, I have a lot of respect for our Prime Minister, and I think he will set an example punishing all those engineers, and the Urban Development Ministry, which is right under the Chief Minister, he should set an example. Otherwise, every second day this will happen. Indians will keep dying, and we will keep arresting some security guard or some manager. And we will hear all these gyans every night. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you so much for joining us, Rajkumar. Ajay is our next viewer joining us from Bangalore. Yes, Ajay.
This is Ajay here. Now, there are two important things. Not going to waste any of your time. Number one is, you should stop bringing people on the debate, throwing garbage at each other when there is such serious issues going on and on and on. And this is not the first time I'm seeing all politicians or all those people who come on debates, they just throw garbage at each other. But it's a great insult to the people who are losing their lives. I don't care which political party it is.
I think that's a very fair point. That's a very fair point, Ajay. I completely agree with you on that. And let me take that thought across to Shailesh Gandhi. Shailesh Gandhi, there's such disgust over politics played out when there's times of such a tragedy. And that's essentially what this viewer is telling us.
Apart from the tragedy, it shows up another fault in our governance system. Only when people die in large number are we bothered. Your own Cal mentioned that 2 people die every day because of open manholes. Now this is something so simple. If we can't manage this, we cannot stand up in the world with pride. What will the world think of us? We cannot keep a suspension bridge in order. A 100-year-old bridge collapses after maintenance done by an Indian company. What it shows is not enough care for safety, not enough accountability, and I'm still hoping that this becomes a wake-up call for us, where never again should such a tragedy allowed to occur. We should take this, ensure safety measures adequately.
All right, quick closing comments. Tehseen, there's disgust with the political class, and that's quite evident. We are seeing politics play out. Mr. Rahul Gandhi says we won't play politics, but yet we are seeing several leaders put out tweets and statements questioning and playing politics over this issue. And that's something that the BJP is saying. Very quick response from you on that.
So I want to say something else, but I'll respond to that, but just allow me to show something else. I think I have a lot of respect for RG because he did not go ahead and politicize it. ST is the duty of opposition to ask questions, but RG did not politicize it, and that's a lot of respect, and I think all politicians should learn from it. Another politician who does that is Akhilesh Yadav, who doesn't politicize. I just want to show you viewers something. This is very important. These are the 3 people who've been arrested by the Gujarat government for this bridge collapsing and 141 of our fellow citizens died. These 3 people, these watchmen. So right, Karan is right, Kancham is right. It is supposed to be the engineers we should have asked accountability for, the municipal authorities to ask accountability for. But they are heading committees to see what's happening, and these people, fellow citizens of ours are arrested, made to sit this way humiliated.
We started the debate with that. We started the debate with that it's the big fish who are getting away. It is the small fry who are unfortunately being made accountable. Will the real perpetrators of this tragedy face some kind of action? Will justice be given to those victims, over 141 victims who've lost their lives? That's the question that's being asked at the moment. I'd like to thank all our guests for joining us. Before we end the show, a development coming in as far as The Wire is concerned, with trouble only mounting. After the FIR over charges of fraud and defamation, Delhi police today conducted searches at the residences of the founding editors Siddharth Varadarajan and MK Venu. Electronic devices were seized during these searches, and it's now only a matter of time before summons are issued, is what sources are indicating to us. Bhavtosh, quick response from you as far as the investigators. Any update on what they found in these devices yet? Because there are already questions being raised as to whether this nature of a complaint required, a civil complaint required this kind of action.
For 2 quick things. What the crime branch officers are telling Times Now is that the probe in this case has now started in right earnest from Monday. Remember, last Saturday, the crime branch has converted the private complaint of Mohammed Malviya into an FIR, and the FIR has been filed under sections of cheating, forgery, and other sections of IPC. The searches started at around 4:40 in the evening and lasted till for 2 hours. The searches were confined to the residence of MK Venu, Siddharth Varadarajan, and also at the premises and office of The Wire in Gold Market. Now, they have seized electronic gadgets of Siddharth Varadarajan, also of MK Venu and Jhanvi Singh. They have said that the cloning of these gadgets will be done and later handed over to them. Now, what actually it means is that they are looking at the possible trail and the mail tail, and as well as the manner in which this story was done. Amit Malviya continues to maintain that this was done in a deliberate manner to malign his image.
We'll have to leave it there, Bhavtosh. Thanks so much for joining us with that update. And with that, it's a wrap of the news hour this evening. Thanks so much for joining us.
The News Hour at 9 will be right back after the break.
The most pressing issues, the most informed minds, free and fair exchange. Converse India with Rahul Shivshankar.
आपको सब फिल्म स्टार ही चाहिए मथुरा में।
नहीं हेमंत
कन्हैया जी ने भक्त चाहिए कल रात की सावन कर बनना चाहेंगे उसको तो आप बनने नहीं देंगे। आप कि दिमाग में सबको ऐसा डाल के रखेंगे फिल्म स्टार ही बनेगा। आपको सब फिल्म स्टार ही चाहिए मथुरा में।
नहीं हेमा
कन्हैया जी ने भक्त चाहिए जी कल रात की सावन का ऑल्सो बिकम। बहुत अच्छी बात है।
आपका क्या विचार है इस बार? आप
मेरा विचार क्या मैं बताऊं? मेरा विचार भगवान के ऊपर है। लॉर्ड कृष्णा विल डू इट।
मैं तो देश की सेवा के लिए ही पैदा हुई हूँ और मैं देश की सेवा करना चाहती हूँ। और क्यों नहीं, हमारे मोदी साहब, हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी चाय बनाते बनाते प्रधानमंत्री जी पीएम बन सकते हैं, तो मैं बॉलीवुड में काम करते करते।
You're watching the News Hour at 9.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that campaigns are being run in order to make one Indian language an enemy of another language. Urging students to keep their native language and dialect alive, Union Home Minister Amit Shah said that basic education should be imparted in local languages. BJP National President JP Nadda paid tribute to Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel in Kullu and said that he is the reason behind India's unity. Supreme Court posts for December 6 the hearing of petitions challenging the Citizenship Amendment Act. The court granted 2 weeks to Assam and Tripura to file their responses. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami, while flagging off a Run for Unity marathon, said that PM Modi's Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat campaign is based on Sardar Patel's ideologies. After court rejected application for virtual appearance of ex-West Bengal Minister Partha Chatterjee, he was brought to special CBI court in Alipur in connection with the Bengal School Service Commission scam.
You were watching the News Hour at 9. Stay tuned.
and welcome. You are watching the Newshour Agenda. I'm Padmaja Joshi. In the last 24 hours, 134 people are dead in Gujarat. All they were out doing is enjoying their weekend. A small indulgence, a night out with their family, relishing the little time after Diwali before winter sets in. Now their families are over. 45 among those dead are minors. Some children were as young as 2 years old, 5 years old. But what happens to the perpetrators? Has accountability been fixed? Has justice been done with the arrest of 9? Let's examine. Here are the people who have been arrested. 2 managers, Dinesh Dave and Deepak Parekh. 2 ticket window clerks, Mansukh Bhai Topia and Mahadev Bhai Solanki. 2 security guards, Prakash Parmar and Dilip Gohil. They were all picked up today along with 3 employees of Oreva company, the company that had been given the responsibility to renovate this bridge. Those 3 Oreva employees are Dilip Gohil, Mukesh Chauhan and Devang Parmar. But what about the owner of this company, Jaisukh Patel? Leave alone arrest him, his name even isn't mentioned in the FIR for this daylight murder. Take a look now at the agreement that was signed for the renovation of the Morbi bridge. This agreement hasn't been signed between the security guards or the ticket window clerk or the managers. It has been signed between the company. It says Ajanta Manufacturing Private Limited and Morbi Mahanagar Palika, which means that the Municipal Corporation of Morbi. Who will be responsible? It will be the owner of the company and the chief of the Morbi Mahanagar Palika. Shouldn't these people who have put their signature of the agreement be the ones shouldering the responsibility? Shouldn't these people be the ones behind the bars? Shouldn't those who allowed for a watch and LED manufacturing company, because that's the track record of Oreva Ajanta, they make wall clocks, they make LED bulbs. Why were they given the contract to renovate a centuries-old bridge? Shouldn't those people pay up? Shouldn't those who allowed a bridge to be reopened with a grand ribbon-cutting ceremony? It's not like it was done surreptitiously. It was done in broad daylight. It was done almost a week ago, and it was done in full public glare. Shouldn't those people who allowed for this ribbon-cutting to happen without getting any fitness certificate be held responsible? The truth is, they are all responsible, and the truth also is that as of today, all of these people are free. The top echelons of this company Ajanta Oreva, of the Municipal Corporation of Gujarat and the Gujarat government itself, all of them must answer, not just 2 security guards and 2 window clerks. They must answer not just to the law of the land and to their conscience, but they also must answer to the people of Gujarat, those people who tonight are going back to a dark house. Those who have seen their loved ones die and drown in front of their eyes, and those who escaped death by a whisker and today are laden with an unending, lifelong trauma.
अंदर गए ना तो सीधा हम जो खड़े थे ना वैसे ही पुल टूट गया, फिर सामने से टूटा, सब पानी के ऊपर डगमग था। हमें रुक के, क्योंकि हमको डर लगता था, इसलिए मैंने मेरे दोस्त को कहा कि 5 मिनट रुको, थोड़ा पब्लिक कम हो जाए फिर जाते। तो फिर टिकट 5 मिनट के बाद अंदर गए ना तो सीधा पुल नीचे आया, तो मैं तो पुल के ऊपर पड़ा, मेरे दोस्त सब पुल के नीचे दब गए। फिर मैंने निकाला सबको, दोनों मेरे 2 दोस्त थे ना, उसको निकाला ने, एक छोटी बच्ची थी 6 साल की, उसको निकाला। आधा घंटे के लिए कोई नहीं हेल्प किया, सब वीडियो ने फोटो देखते रहे। सामने इतने थे, सामने पूरा पुल भरा हुआ था, इस साल 50 से 100 आदमी थे मेरे दोस्त में, सब सामने बहुत थे, इसलिए सब पानी में चले गए।
3 टिकट लगे गए, 3 दोस्त थे हम।
बाकी के कहाँ हैं?
हम दोनों तो बच गए, लेकिन एक दोस्त नहीं था। फिरोज नाम था उसका।
जब आप वहाँ गए तो रोका नहीं किसी ने आपको?
नहीं रोका, किसी ने नहीं रोका।
अंदाज से उस पुल पे कितने लोग मौजूद होंगे शाम के समय?
500-600 लोग, ज़्यादा लोग थे, भीड़ बहुत ज़्यादा थी।
पुल अचानक से गिर ही गया था, कैसे गिरा मालूम नहीं, गिर ही गया था बीच में से। बीच चलने का आता है ना, वही निकल गया था पूरा का पूरा। सब लोग नीचे ही गिर गए थे पानी। छोटे छोटे बच्चे थे, बड़ों को तो तैरना आता होगा, छोटे छोटे बच्चों को तैरना नहीं आता।
मेरी लाइव प्रसारण मैंने वो देखा है, मैंने सब देखा है। जो 6 के 6:30 की बज में पुल टूटा है, एक भागी टूटा है, तो मैं तो चाय के अंदर गुजरी भराती है, उधर में गया तो मेरे हाथ में थर्मोस भी गिर गया। आधे लोग ऐसे थिंक गए थे, फिर जैसे स्लिप हो गया था। फिर मैंने सबको 6:30 बजे किसी ने फोन किया, सब वास्त की। फिर मैंने पूरी रात नहीं सोया हूँ। मैंने मेरी सबसे मानू सेवा की है। बहुत बच्चे को मैं लेके आया हूँ 108 में। बहुत एक प्रेग्नेंट औरत थी, दिल में लगा मेरे को। प्रेग्नेंट औरत 7-8 महीने की बालक होगा, वो भी डेथ हो गई। मेरी लाइफ में ऐसा आज तक मैंने देखा नहीं है।
बहुत घटना हो गई, बोल नहीं सकती अब मैं। बहुत बुरा हुआ, बच्चे लोग भी थे, बहुत मैं बोल नहीं सकती। इतना मेरे को दुख लगा है, जो कोविड में था ने, उससे ज्यादा भी मेरे को आज बहुत तकलीफ हुई है। और सबने साथ दिया, 108 प्रेस रिपोर्टर, हॉस्पिटल का स्टाफ, कोई भी संस्था, सब मिलके अपना समझ के बहुत सपोर्ट किया। धन्यवाद करती हूँ उन सबको मैं।
ये 6:30 बजे हुई रात, 6:30 बजे हुई है। और बीच में से चिल्ला रहा था सब, 20-25 वर्ष की उम्र का 15-20 छोकरा, और हिला रहा था। और सब इकट्ठा हो गए सब एक लोग, और 3 बार आवाज आया। 6ली बार आवाज आया तो नाला टूट गया, जोर से नाला टूट गया।
नितिन पटेल जी, 9 लोगों को अरेस्ट किया गया है, पर ये छोटे लेवल के अधिकारी, टिकट चेकर, सिक्योरिटी गार्ड की जगह कंपनी, ओरेवा कंपनी के मालिक को गिरफ्तार क्यों नहीं किया गया?
देखिए, ये जो ब्रिज था, उसका जो लोग ऑपरेशन चला रहे थे, यानी कि जो अभी लोग बता रहे हैं कि उसकी कैपेसिटी के ज्यादा पैसेंजर या टूरिस्ट उसके ऊपर चले गए, और जो इसके कारण भी ये हादसा हो सकता था, ऐसा हादसा हुआ ओवरलोडेड होने के कारण। तो पहले स्वाभाविक है कि जो वहां उस जगह का कामकाज संभालते हैं वो लोग को अरेस्ट करना, और अभी उनकी पूछताछ चल रही है। और जैसे जैसे उनकी पूछताछ में से आगे की बात निकलेगी कि और भी कौन कौन जिम्मेदार है, उस प्रकार आगे के और लोगों को भी पुलिस अरेस्ट करेगी। अभी 9 लोगों को अरेस्ट किया, इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि ये 9 लोगों को ही, ये 9 लोगों को ही गिरफ्तार किया, अब और किसी को गिरफ्तार नहीं किया जाएगा, ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है। कोई भी
जी, आप इस आश्वासन से आश्वस्त हैं कि ये तो सिर्फ शुरुआत है, अभी और लोगों को भी अरेस्ट किया जाएगा?
First of all, whatever happened is extremely unfortunate. We have lost more than 150 lives. My deepest condolences to the victims' family. But this FIR, I am saying on the basis of numerous experiences, is nothing but an eyewash. If they really want to take the prop to its logical end, then they would form an SID with the officers who are absolutely non-corrupt and of impeccable integrity, which they won't do. Secondly, there is no mentioning of the company in the FIR itself. So the ones who are not named in the FIR, obviously they won't be arrested. What happened in which tragedy we all are aware of. More than 70 people lost their lives. Again, despite of having the policy of prohibition, liquor is being sold in each and every nook and corner of Gujarat. So
when the government of Gujarat is doing an FIR, we don't trust because top doesn't go to its logical end. Why there is no mentioning of the company in the FIR? Isn't it? Isn't this already
very important point you're raising, नितिन पटेल जी, जब नाम ही नहीं है FIR में।
पद्मजा जी मेरी बात सुनिए, जिग्नेश भाई भी एडवोकेट है, उनको भी ये मालूम है कि FIR जब होती है तो उसमें जितने जितने नाम होते हैं उसके अलावा भी जैसे जैसे तहकीकात इन्वेस्टिगेशन आगे बढ़ता है उस प्रकार के लोगों को उसमें इन्वॉल्व किया जा सकता है, उनको भी पकड़ा जा सकता है। तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि 9 लोग को ही जो जिसको पकड़ा है इसके आगे किसी को नहीं पकड़ेंगे। ये जिग्नेश भाई एडवोकेट है, लेकिन जानबूझकर गलत समी फैलाने के लिए ये ऐसी बात करते हैं। और दूसरी बात जो उन्होंने कही कि सरकार ने तुरंत एक्शन लिए हैं और बातें जो इसमें जोड़ते हैं, ये एक वो बोलते हैं कि करप्ट ऑफिसर को इंक्वायरी में रखा। अभी इंक्वायरी रात को बिठा दी गई है और आप किसी अफसर को IPS अफसर हो या सेक्रेटरी कक्षा के IAS अधिकारी हो उनको सीधा ही करप्ट बोल दे, ये भी ठीक नहीं है।
जिग्नेश जी इसका रिस्पॉन्स देंगे, बट इसके पहले मैं आपसे एक सवाल पूछना चाहती हूँ स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड। नितिन पटेल जी, आपको लगता है कि ओरेवा कंपनी की गलती है?
नहीं, मुझे ऐसा लगता है, आपकी बात सही है कि कोई भी अगर ब्रिज बनता है, कंस्ट्रक्शन होता है तो उसका कंप्लीशन सर्टिफिकेट अथॉरिटी की ओर से लेना चाहिए। और ये ब्रिज जो है वो कितने लोगों का वजन ले सकता है, उसका बर्डन लेने की कैपेसिटी कितनी है, वेट लेने की कैपेसिटी कितनी है, उसका पहले टेस्टिंग करना चाहिए। और जितना बर्डन वेट वो ये ब्रिज ले सकता था उतने ही लोगों को इसके पर जाने देना चाहिए।
तो आप मानते हैं कि उन्होंने गलत काम किया, उन्होंने बिना फिटनेस सर्टिफिकेट लिए खोल दिया। अधिकारी क्या कर रहे थे सर 5 दिन से? अगर ये ब्रिज चल रहा है, लोग उस पे जा रहे हैं, अधिकारियों को कोई मालूमात नहीं थी?
नहीं, मेरे हिसाब से तो सबको मालूम होगा क्योंकि 4 दिन से चल रहा था। 10-15 हजार लोग जब इस साइट की विजिट कर रहे थे, लोग घूम रहे थे, दिवाली का त्योहार था, वेकेशन था। तो ये मोरबी भी ऐसा बड़ा शहर तो नहीं है कि सबको मालूम ना हो। तो सबको मालूम होगा ये ब्रिज शुरू हो चुका है, लेकिन उसका ये टेक्निकलिटी जो है उसका कंप्लीशन सर्टिफिकेट लेना।
नहीं, एक सेकेंड, तो ये टेक्निकलिटी की बात जिग्नेश जी से पूछ लेते हैं क्योंकि वो लॉयर भी हैं। हत्या का केस बनता है अधिकारियों के ऊपर मिस्टर मेवानी?
बिल्कुल बन सकता है। दिस इज अ केस ऑफ क्रिमिनल नेग्लिजेंस। और ये जो कह रहे कि मैंने अफसर्स जो SIT में उनको करप्ट करा, मैंने ऐसा नहीं कहा। मैंने ऐसा कहा कि जो नॉन करप्ट
बोला कि करप्ट लोगों को इंक्वायरी में बिठा दिया।
डाउट कर सकता है, ऐसे जो चंद अफसर गुजरात में आज भी है उनको SIT में लीजिए ताकि उस कंपनी कोई
बाकी अफसर
नेता मंत्री हो तो बख्शा ना जाए। दैट्स व्हाट आई हैव सबमिटेड।
नहीं, कोई करप्ट अफसर नहीं है, सब अफसर अच्छे ही है।
कोई नहीं कह रहा हूँ नितिन भाई,
और हर क्षेत्र में कोई आदमी गलत होता है। पॉलिटिक्स में भी गलत होता है, धर्म में भी गलत होता है, बिजनेस में भी गलत होता है, एडवोकेसी में भी गलत होता है, हर क्षेत्र में गलत लोग होते हैं। तो सब अफसर गलत है ऐसा मानना ठीक नहीं है। ये तो उनका अपमान है सबका।
नहीं सर, आप मानते हैं, जिग्नेश मेवानी कह रहे हैं कि हत्या का केस, नेग्लिजेंस का केस, क्रिमिनल नेग्लिजेंस का केस बनता है अधिकारियों के ऊपर भी। आपको न्यूमरस लैप्सेस में बताती हूं। दिवाली के पहले वहां पर एडवर्टाइजमेंट दिया जाता है कि भाई ये ब्रिज खुलने वाला है, सब लोग आइए। लोगों को व्हाट्सएप पे ये ऐड जाता है कि आप आइए, ब्रिज के ऊपर आइए। टिकट कलेक्टर 450-500 टिकट बेच देता है। क्या किसी को पता नहीं चलता कि इतनी ओवरक्राउडिंग हो रही है?
नहीं, मैंने वही बोला कि उसका कंप्लीशन सर्टिफिकेट अभी तक नहीं लिया गया है, ऐसा कल चीफ ऑफिसर ने बोला। उसका टेस्टिंग नहीं हुआ है, ऐसा भी चीफ ऑफिसर ने बोला। तो वही बोलता हूं मैं कि ये करना चाहिए, नहीं किया है वो गलत है।
तो सर अधिकारियों को, जिग्नेश मेवानी,
तो उनकी गिरफ्तारी हो, उनके खिलाफ FIR हो, FIR में उनके नाम डाले जाए, कंपनी के लोगों के खिलाफ जांच शुरू हो, कंपनी का नाम FIR में डाला जाए। ये क्यों नहीं करना है?
ये कंपनी के लोगों को ही पकड़ा है ना भाई।
लेट मी कंप्लीट।
ये नौ जो अरेस्ट हुए हैं वो कंपनी के लोग ही है।
करते हैं, पुलिस सब इंस्पेक्टर की ट्रांसफर होती है और एसपी को छोड़ दिया जाता है। यही हमारी आशंका है, ये नहीं होना चाहिए इस मामले में।
बिग फिश विल गेट अवे मिस्टर पटेल, बिग फिश विल गेट अवे, ये डर है सबको।
नहीं, कुछ सब होगा और सब ओपनली होगा, पारदर्शिता से होगा, क्योंकि 134 लोगों की जो जान गई है वो हमारे भाई बहन, हमारे बच्चे थे, उनके प्रति हमारी जिम्मेदारी है। हम इसमें कोई पॉलिटिक्स नहीं करते या इस प्रकार के कोई एलिगेशन किसी के ऊपर नहीं करते, ये हमारी जिम्मेदारी है। आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र भाई मोदी जी ने भी इसमें बहुत गंभीरता से मामले को लिया है, सबने लिया है। हमारे मुख्यमंत्री जी, हमारे होम मिनिस्टर रात को वहां पहुंच गए,
जिग्नेश मेवानी रिस्पॉन्ड कर रहे हैं,
पहुंच गया, सबको काम में लगा दिया। ये कोई छोटी बात है?
ट्रेजेडी में जो 70 लोग मारे गए, उस बोटाद, भावनगर और अहमदाबाद में, उसी जगह में, उसी गांव में, उसी तहसील में दोबारा शराब की बिक्री चालू हो चुकी है। और यदि ये बात गलत सिद्ध हुआ तो मैं बतौर एमएलए रिजाइन करने तैयार हूं। चलिए, दैट्स माय चैलेंज।
जहां करनी है चैलेंज करो, मुझे करने का कोई मतलब नहीं है।
मतलब कि आप उस ट्रेजेडी में जो 70 लोग मारे गए, उनके लिए आपने जो संवेदना व्यक्त की थी वो भी कोरी थी, उसकी जांच में क्या निकला?
नहीं,
दोबारा वहां शराब की बिक्री हो रही है, तो जो बड़ी मछली है उसको पकड़ना पड़ेगा।
देश को कंफ्यूज कर रहे हो।
लेट बिग फिशेस गेट अवे, दिस इज वेरी सीरियस।
उसमें भी सबको पकड़ लिया गया है और सभी लोग जेल में हैं। जो बूटलेगर थे वो अभी भी जेल में है। आप कैसी बात करते हो? सबको पकड़ा है, सब लोग जेल में है, सब लोग जेल में है।
बिल्कुल नहीं, गलत बात।
नहीं, सब जेल में। कोर्ट छोड़ता है तो कोर्ट की जिम्मेदारी है, कोर्ट के पावर्स में आता है। पुलिस ने सबको पकड़ा था, रिमांड लिया था।
नाक के नीचे शराब की बिक्री होती है, ड्रग्स आता है,
किसी को जमानत देना
चलते हैं
तो कोर्ट के पावर में
कभी कार्रवाई नहीं होती। कांस्टेबल्स को ही आप पकड़ते हो,
किसी को जमानत नहीं देती,
चौकीदार को पकड़ोगे,
जमानत
सिक्योरिटी गार्ड को पकड़ोगे, क्लर्क को पकड़ोगे, कंपनी को छोड़ दोगे, क्योंकि कंपनी से बहुत मोहब्बत है आपकी पार्टी को।
नितिन पटेल
पार्टी के लोगों का
सबसे बड़ी बात यह है इसमें, और आज जनता आपसे यह सवाल पूछ रही है कि किस बिना पर एक घड़ी बनाने वाली कंपनी को, एक एलईडी बल्ब बनाने वाली कंपनी को इस ब्रिज की मरम्मत का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट दिया गया? क्या इनका कोई एक्सपीरियंस है ब्रिज की मरम्मत का? इनको किस बिना पे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट दिया गया?
नहीं, ये बात सही है, एलिगेशन की तपास होगी। मैंने पहले भी बताया कि ये मोरबी नगर पालिका के क्षेत्र में ये ब्रिज है। उन्होंने, नगर पालिका ने एग्रीमेंट करके ये कंपनी को ये रिनोवेशन का काम दिया, मेंटेनेंस का काम दिया, और उसका क्वालिफिकेशन देखा कि नहीं देखा।
पर नितिन पटेल जी, ये तो मतलब इस लेवल ऑफ नेग्लिजेंस है कि ये तो हादसा होना ही था। ये तो ऐसा हो गया कि आप मेरे को कार्डियक सर्जरी का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट दे दे। किस बिना पर एक बल्ब बनाने वाली कंपनी को ब्रिज बनाने का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट दिया गया? और वो भी एक ऐसा ब्रिज जिसकी मरम्मत 100 साल पुराना ब्रिज है, जिसकी मरम्मत तो स्पेशलिस्ट करते हैं। नगर पालिका का तो नंबर 1 नाम पे होना चाहिए था एफआईआर में, और उनका नाम ही गायब है।
So the question is, who took the money for this dealing?
Who took the money, नितिन पटेल जी? Who took the money? ये तो this was a disaster in the making. ये तो नगर पालिका को पता होना चाहिए था कि ये हादसा होके ही रहेगा।
आपकी बात सही है, नगर पालिका ने कितनी गलती की है, उसमें कौन दोषित है, वो सब इंक्वायरी में बाहर आएगा। अभी कहाँ बात खत्म हुई है?
सर, ये तो
बात शुरू हुई, इंक्वायरी मैडम आज शुरू हुई है।
इंक्वायरी तो तब
सर, ये तो जो स्टैम्प पेपर पे अग्रीमेंट हुआ है, जिसने दस्तखत किया है, उसका नंबर 1 नाम होना चाहिए था एफआईआर पे। उसमें क्या छपास की जरूरत है?
वो पुलिस करेगी, जो भी करना है जरूर करेगी। इसमें जिग्नेश भाई के कहने से थोड़ा
24 घंटे हो गए, कंपनी का नाम एफआईआर में क्यों नहीं होना ही
पुलिस
चाहिए?
का काम है, वो
कंपनी की जांच होनी
जो भी
चाहिए,
करना है पुलिस कर रही है,
लोगों की गिरफ्तारी होनी चाहिए,
ऑफिसर कर रहे हैं,
कंपनी का मैनेजर,
वो सब
कंपनी
करेंगे।
का सीईओ, कंपनी का मालिक, उसके खिलाफ केस बनता है।
वो तो कोर्ट तय करेगा, पुलिस तय करेगी,
नहीं
हम
सर,
थोड़े तय करने वाले हैं।
सर ये तो एसआईटी तय करेगी।
मटीरियल है।
नहीं, एसआईटी नहीं बोलता मैं, कोर्ट बोला मैडम। मैंने बोला कोर्ट और पुलिस तय करेगी।
नहीं सर,
SIT
एफआईआर
का
में
ये
किसका
काम नहीं
नाम
है।
डलेगा ये तो पुलिस और एसआईटी तय करेगी।
अरे SIT नहीं, पुलिस करेगी ये काम।
सर पुलिस करेगी तो क्यों नहीं एफआईआर में नाम डला है? ये तो किसी
FIR
को भी
क्या
पता
करनी,
है।
किसके खिलाफ करनी वो पुलिस तय करती है।
नितिन जी,
SIT
विद द
incident
ग्रेटेस्ट
कैसे हुआ?
रिस्पेक्ट, विद द ग्रेटेस्ट रिस्पेक्ट, एज अ ले पर्सन आई एम आस्किंग यू, एज अ ले पर्सन आई एम आस्किंग यू, सब राजनीति आप छोड़ दीजिए, अगर एक कंपनी ने नगर पालिका के साथ करार किया है और वो ब्रिज गिर जाता है तो कंपनी और नगर पालिका के अधिकारियों का नाम तो एफआईआर में होना चाहिए। दो लोगों के बीच में करार हुआ, कंपनी और नगर पालिका, दोनों का नाम क्यों नहीं है?
भाई कहा ना बोलता हूं, लेकिन ये कब करना कैसे करना वो पुलिस तय करती है।
और कौन
पुलिस का काम है? एफआईआर करना पुलिस का काम है। जैसे जैसे इन्वेस्टिगेशन आगे बढ़ेगा
जिनकी ज्यूरिसडिक्शन में ड्रग्स बिकती है यही पुलिस जांच करेगी। मैं नाम देता हूं, नीलदीप राय और सुजाता मजमूदार को डालिए एसआईटी में तो दूध का दूध और पानी का पानी होगा।
नितिन पटेल जी,
एसआईटी की टीम में आप नरसिम्हा कोमर को रखिए जिसकी इंटेग्रिटी इम्पेकेबल है, जो ऑनेस्ट और नॉन करप्ट, उनसे जांच करवाइए।
सबकी अच्छी है,
आपके लिए जो कन्वीनियंट है उन ऑफिसर्स को डालोगे।
गलत काम नहीं करता, किसी को डाउटफुल नहीं माना जाता।
नितिन पटेल जी, जो 45 बच्चे, द यंगेस्ट अमंग देम वाज 2 years old, पार्डन मी, उनके घर वाले अगर आपको देख रहे हैं, उनको क्या आप आश्वासन देंगे, बाकी सब छोड़िए, कि जिन लोगों को जिम्मेदारी लेनी चाहिए वो कल इस वक्त तक जेल की सलाखों के पीछे होंगे, कंपनी और नगर पालिका, क्या वो अगले 24 घंटे में जेल में होंगे?
ये होम मिनिस्टर वहां बैठे हैं, वो खुद उसको देख रहे हैं काम को, हमारे मुख्यमंत्री जी देख रहे हैं, जो भी करना है जब करना है तुरंत ही कार्रवाई करेंगे। मैं दूसरी बार बता दूं कि हमारी जिम्मेदारी 134 जिसकी मृत्यु
जी कुछ दिखा रहे हैं आपको,
उनके परिवार के प्रति है। तो मैंने देखा है मैडम, मैंने देखा है, सब देखा है, जो 134 लोगों की डेथ हुई है उनके प्रति हमारी जिम्मेदारी है, संवेदनशीलता है और उनके
बट सर जस्टिस मस्ट बी सीन टू बी डन। इट्स बीन 24 आवर्स
जिम्मेदारी नहीं है।
नितिन पटेल जी, 24 घंटे हो गए हैं और अगर जिसने ब्रिज बनाया और जिसने ब्रिज का पूरा कॉन्ट्रैक्ट दिया, अगर वो आदमी जेल में नहीं है, सोचिए उस मां को क्या बीतेगी जिसका 2 साल का बच्चा गुजर गया और उसको, उसके जिम्मेदार जो आदमी है अभी तक जेल के बाहर है, नाम तक नहीं है। कौन है इस कंपनी के मालिक?
वो तो सब पुलिस तय करेगी, सब पुलिस का स्टेप बाय स्टेप कार्रवाई करेगी।
Okay, Jignesh Bhavani, final question. As somebody who comes from the state, what do you make of the fact that this company was given the contract and why? Why was this done?
Without the dealings of money, I don't think the company would be given the contract. There has to be some dealing. That's my allegation, and this I'm saying consciously. अदरवाइज इस कंपनी का कोई पास्ट में कोई हिस्ट्री नहीं ब्रिज बनाने का, ब्रिज को रिनोवेट करने का, उसको ऐसे ही काम मिल गया, ऐसे ठेका मिल गया। और मेरे एक ट्वीट करने पर 2500 किलोमीटर का रास्ता तय करके आसाम की पुलिस 24 घंटे में गिरफ्तारी के लिए आ जाती है। यहाँ 150 लोगों की मौत हो गई और कोई इन्वेस्टिगेशन नहीं कंपनी के खिलाफ।
नितिन पटेल जी, क्या ये नेग्लिजेंस ही था या ये करप्शन था जिसने 133 जाने ले ली?
मैडम, मैंने बोला कि सब एक्शन होंगे और पूरे एक्शन होंगे, किसी को भी छोड़ा नहीं जाएगा, लेकिन ये पुलिस का काम है और पुलिस कर रही है।
सर, यू आर सेइंग दैट पुलिस अपना काम करेगी। 24 घंटे हो गए हैं और पुलिस ने जिन 9 लोगों को अरेस्ट किया है उनमें अभी सिक्योरिटी गार्ड, कॉन्ट्रैक्टर और सिर्फ टिकट काउंटर पे बेचने वाले लोग हैं। द रियल पीपल, द बिग फिश सर।
मैंने देखा मैनेजर भी है, सब है, उस साइट पर जुड़े हुए जो भी कर्मचारी थे वो सब है
सर।
कंपनी नहीं, कंपनी का सीईओ नहीं, कंपनी का बॉस नहीं, कंपनी का मालिक नहीं, कंपनी का मैनेजर नहीं, सीनियर ऑफिसर्स नहीं और भाजपा के मंत्री जिन्होंने पैसों का डील किया होगा ना, वो नहीं। और उसका जांच तो तभी होगा जब ये कन्वीनियंट एसआईटी के बजाय नॉन करप्ट ऑफिसर्स की एसआईटी बने। नाम देने को मैं भी तैयार हूँ, उनको डालिए।
तुम्हारे
तो
पास
उसके लॉजिकल
तुम्हारे
एंड
पास
तक
नाम
ले
लेने
जाएंगे।
की हमारे को कोई जरूरत नहीं है। आपके
आपको तो
पास
कोई
नाम
जरूरत
लेने की
नहीं।
कोई जरूरत नहीं है।
12-14
हमारी-
एग्जाम्स का
हमारी
पेपर
गवर्नमेंट
लीक
सक्षम
हो,
है।
आपको
हाँ, हमारे
जांच की कोई
मुख्यमंत्री जी
जरूरत नहीं।
सक्षम है। हमारी गवर्नमेंट तय करेगी, आपको थोड़ा तय
2
करना
लाख
है।
करोड़ का ड्रग्स पाया जाए, आपको कोई जरूरत नहीं।
आपको कोर्ट ने बोला है कि
लोग मरते रहे, आपको कोई जरूरत नहीं।
नितिन पटेल जी, we will hold you to your word. We will hold you to your word. अभी तक 2 मैनेजर, 2 कॉन्ट्रैक्टर, 3 सिक्योरिटी गार्ड और 2 टिकट क्लर्क अरेस्ट हुए हैं। Surely these can't be the only people who took the decision कि एक घड़ी की कंपनी एक ब्रिज का रेनोवेशन करेगी। इनकी गलती होगी कि अब क्या सिर्फ इन्हीं की गलती है? आपके ही प्रदेश के लोग आपको देख रहे हैं और आपको जज करेंगे। I will leave it at that. Thank you very much, Mr. Nitin Patel, Mr. Jignesh Mevani, for joining me.
India is gearing up for the biggest event that it has hosted in many years. Karnataka is all set to host Global Investors Meet, the biggest of its kind summit that is happening in Karnataka. And I have with us the man of the moment, Chief Minister of Karnataka, Shri Basavaraj Bommai is with us, exclusively speaking to Times Network. Sir, thank you so much for joining us. And congratulations, this seems to be the biggest event that India has hosted, especially post-COVID. And everybody is excited. What I want to understand is, what was your vision when you conceived Global Investors Meet? Because we have seen many summits happening in India where states try to portray their business-friendly image or attract investments. But GIM has already moved to a different level altogether.
You're absolutely right. The earlier GIMs were just showcasing the states and ease of doing business. But this time, especially post-COVID, the world scenario has changed as far as economics and industries are concerned. At one time, the manufacturing dominated countries have now really stopped manufacturing in so many sectors, and the so-called dominant countries like China and all are also now finding a stiff competition, and the world is very, very careful in choosing the countries where they have to get their supplies. Post-COVID, the entire things have changed. In that scenario, India will be mostly benefited, and more so Karnataka. And success of Karnataka is very important for the success of India, Bharat. For simple reason is, we are hosting this gym on the position of our strength of technology. We have got a very niche technology here, and we have got the highest number of R&D. No city or no state can boast of. And then we have got niche areas like aerospace, defense, artificial intelligence. And then of course we have got a very strong IT-BT base here. And of course we are one of the pioneers in manufacturing for last 5 decades, not only now. So we have got a very strong manufacturing base. To add up to this, we have got a very, very strong skilled manpower. Hence all this makes up to be a very good opportunity for the people who want to invest and get the results as soon as possible. So Karnataka is one state which is bountiful by nature, natural resources, human resources, as well as technology. Hence people love to come to Karnataka. The second factor is a cultural factor, where we have got a very cosmopolitan culture which no other state can boast of. And we are all peace-loving people, and we are very progressive thinking people. That's how Karnataka is the destination. To make this destination into an event where all the roads should lead to Bangalore. Hence this Global Investors Meet is there based on our strength.
Also, I think, sir, what is reflecting in the theme itself of Global Investors Meet, Build for the World, that itself is a very visionary theme, and somewhere it resonates with the post-COVID scenario where world is trying to actively pursue China plus one policy. I think Karnataka would be best positioned, and it is almost at the core of India's efforts to be Atmanirbhar. So what is your vision? If you can elaborate on policies that you have in mind to put Karnataka in pole position.
See, it's a very high time now to think globally and scaling up. Hence, we have to have a vision where it will be Atmanirbhar, but ultimately to conquer the world. That's why build for the world. See, building for Karnataka is always there. Building for India is also there. But building for the world is a vision, a bigger dream. And of late it has been seen that we are able to do that. And it is nothing not very far-fetching idea. It is one idea where it is possible, and post-COVID, as you said, the international policy to have China plus one or whatever you call is really a right kind of opportunity for state of Karnataka, where already technology is there, people with skill are there. So only thing what we have to do is we have to conquer other niche areas, number one. Number two, we have to scale up our capabilities, and that's exactly what we are trying to do by saying build for the world.
Right. You have also just recently, in fact, promoted one of the biggest FMCG clusters in the state. There is a lot of focus on manufacturing, and I would say high-tech manufacturing when it comes to aerospace and defense. So what is your vision or roadmap for these core sectors?
See, as you mentioned, FMCG cluster, what we are going to have in Dharwad, it is one of the best opportunity for the people in FMCG manufacturing, because we are giving them one of the largest concessions nobody has ever given. The second one is regarding aerospace. Karnataka is already an aerospace map, thanks to HAL from last 5 decades. And then even in private sector, a lot of Indian manufacturing and multinational manufacturing are there. Just to elaborate, in fact, we have got companies manufacturing all the spares for a aircraft, all the space, including engine. It is somebody has to come and just assemble it. So we are looking for a international aircraft company to put up their shop here. To that extent, aerospace has been very well established in Karnataka. Similarly, in defense also, we have got large presence of defense establishments here, both Army, Navy and aerospace, as well as 60% of our manufacturing, including DRDO, what we have, is now manufactured in India, thanks to our Prime Minister for calling Atmanirbhar in defense also. So our Prime Minister Narendra Modi vision to have Atmanirbhar, for example, HAL is manufacturing the helicopter here, completely Atmanirbhar on Narendra Modi's lines. So there is a lot of activity here. Hence the niche areas like aerospace, defense, and including artificial intelligence, including semiconductors. So already we have got a very strong platform here. We are just building on it.
Right. Sir, you mentioned about aerospace hub, and I mean, obviously I'm aware that a lot of global giants in aerospace and defense manufacturing are part of the GIM delegation. What is your expectation in terms of the breakthrough agreements or the MOUs, because it is expected that this is going to be one of the biggest investors summit held ever by a state in last 10-15 years.
I want to identify two different approaches what we are having in this team. One is we are not just signing MOUs. MOU is just an intent.
Correct.
So we need more than the intent. So we are expecting more than 5.5 lakh crores of investment. It may cross 6 also, the way it is going on. But more importantly, out of that, more than 3.5 lakhs already they have signed MOU about 3 months back, 4 months back, and then they have placed their applications, identifying land, technology, everything. And there is something called state level, high level committee to clear. We have cleared the projects. We are one step ahead, and we are going to showcase it tomorrow. We are giving them a certificate of investment. That means we have approved your project. It is not just MOU without any. They have given us documents, we have verified, we have given them go ahead, and so that it takes off immediately. That is number one. Number two, we are trying to get the investment in niche areas. The regular sectors which are going to come, it will come, but I personally is pushing for niche areas like renewable energy, manufacturing of hydrogen fuels, manufacturing of ammonia. These are all totally something which is very, very new agenda on the anvil as far as energy sector is concerned. Second thing is, we are, of course, as I mentioned earlier, we are coming out with aerospace in a big way, and defense in a big way, and of course semiconductor, we have signed a MOU already. Therefore, all the niche areas, I am very keen to get them in my state. So one is a quality, one is a new area. Second is a proactiveness of the state to clear, not just stopping at MOU, going beyond MOU and beyond approvals.
That's a very interesting point you mentioned, and in fact that was my follow-up question, but I'll ask it nevertheless. You know, critics and opposition always has this argument that all these summits have a lot of announcements and a lot of MOUs are declared, but the ground level implementation is almost 1/10 sometimes, or even lesser, and it's very slow. You have already partially answered that. Second is unemployment. You know, they keep coming up with these numbers all the time. What is your answer to them? Because if so many projects are going to take off in the state, obviously it will have impact, one on the employment, and second is on the overall growth prospects. So what is your answer?
See, whenever some enterprises come and do the investment, we have to take care of two E's. One is boost to the economy, one is economy, another is employment. So they have to satisfy these two A's. I don't declare that all the industries will satisfy these two. There are some industries where they generate lot of employment but very little economic growth. But there are some industries where economic growth is huge but the employment is not to the extent which we expect because of the automation and other things. So we have to have a fine balance. As far as employment is concerned, that's our topest priority, because the game changer is employment. It is not only creating wealth for a few people who invest, it is creating wealth to the masses. And I believe that bottom of the pyramid is the key game changer. They are the movers and shakers of economy. And whenever they get opportunity and when they become stakeholders and when their economy improves, the whole ecosystem of economic activity changes. Therefore, I have come out with employment policy. The employment policy is first of its kind in the country. We have industry policies, incentive policy, everything, but nobody has employment policy. I am giving over and above than the capital incentives. I am giving a special incentives those who generate employment. We have made different slabs, and first time my employment policy is in place. So the industry which gives more employment will be more incentivized. That is the whole thing, and we are trying to bring industries with the employment potential, and I am giving priority in clearance, in getting them land, in getting them all facilities. we are doing a larger hand holding for the industries, for the enterprises which are employment generating, and we have identified certain sectors also. So we have, for example, you'll be surprised that highest number of garments and garment exports are there from Karnataka. A large number of units. Large number of people are employed. Now those industries are moving beyond Bengaluru. They are going up north and remote places in a huge number. That's why we are getting almost 4 textile parks, big textile parks done in the state. That will generate a lot of employees. FMCG, we are anticipating 1 lakh employment from FMCG and minimum 10 lakhs from this textiles and garments. And even in ITBT, you'll be surprised that ITBT is generating 3 lakh jobs every year in Karnataka. So we have identified the areas, number one, and then we are incentivizing them for this thing. And we are also thinking of welfare of the people who work, so that they give the output will be much more than the national averages. So we are very progressive state in that aspect also. So human development is always our focus in all the activities what we do. And as I said, economy and employment has to go together.
It's a very interesting point that you made, because we have also observed that states come out with different policies, but employment policy is a very interesting factor. Now, one more thing which is linked to it and can actually have a very positive impact on employment is the infrastructure development. And I have seen the pace at which infrastructure development is happening under your leadership. So what is your vision? Where do you see the infrastructure of Karnataka going? Because that happens to be a common bottleneck across the country.
No, that's right. But thanks to once again our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, his Gati Shakti projects, wherein we develop the ports, and we'll not just develop the ports, we will link them to the hinterlands. So logistic policy of Government of India to link the ports to hinterlands, it's doing in a big way. And in Karnataka this year we are investing a lot of port development and linking them to the hinterlands. The second one is the roads, which we have taken up. 6,500 kilometers of national highways been built up in Karnataka. It's a large number. And we are building our state highways also equally. Almost 2,000 kilometers of state highway we are building them. Apart from this, we have a land bank of more than 50,000 acres, which is already ready for industrialization. And of course, the other infrastructure like power, water, it's a continuous process. We are trying to make it, and we are a power surplus state. So with all these things, infrastructure will be in place, and I assure all the investors that there will be no shortcomings as far as infrastructure is concerned, providing to all these industries which are going to come and invest.
Also, one interesting thing that I noticed about Global Investors Meet, if we come back to that topic, are the 4 pillars on which the entire summit is being mounted: innovation, resilience, equity and sustainability. You have already spoken about sustainability. So were these pillars consciously kept in mind while you were thinking about Global Investors Meet? Because these are actually the interlinked and sort of a requirement of the future also from growth point of view.
See, as far as I am concerned, Invest Karnataka Global Investors Meet, I see a net organic result of our organic growth is happening in the state. All this innovation, sustainability, resilient, these are all part of our industrial policy, industrial culture. It's an ongoing process. It is not like one-stop work. It is going to be continuous. And we want to, ultimately, the Global Investors Meet should have all these ingredients so that they will be part of our system for a long time. We are looking for a long-term partners, not just one-time investors. We have seen a lot of investors coming here with lot of enthusiasm, and ultimately they fail and fail the state also and go back. So we don't. We are very serious about it. That's why We are looking into sustainability, resilience as well as innovation. And as far as innovation is concerned, once again, Karnataka is the first state to have a R&D policy. No state has R&D policy. The R&D policy is one of the beautiful R&D policy where we recognize any kind of research or a development right from garage to the highest institutions. And we are going to link the inter-institutional interactions and see that the entire R&D is enhanced. There will be no repetition. The strengths of different institutions, strength of different individuals are honed up for a very high level R&D. And we have got 400 R&D centers with niche areas, international R&D centers here. No city in the world, not in the country, no city in the world can boast of this. Right from genomatics to the aerospace we have. So broad spectrum of R&D is going on. Daily more than 10,000 engineers from different countries land up in Bangalore. That's how big the activity is. Hence innovation is always a part. That's why the Niti Aayog has been ranking us #1 innovation state for last 3 years. So this is how our culture is, and all these pillars are part of our culture, and we want to strengthen them. And the gem is the net effect of this culture and organic growth.
Right. Sir, under your leadership, Karnataka and Bengaluru are already a global brand because of the sheer intelligence that it brings on the global stage. Since India also aspires to be the engine of global growth, at some point, can we expect a summit like Global Investors Meet or any other summit that Karnataka would host in the future to actually go ahead and rival something like Davos, because people keep talking about it and the global economic order has changed. It's all shifting towards Asia. So what is your vision for that?
Last year I was in Davos.
That's why I asked you, because there was a lot of excitement in Davos about Karnataka.
Yeah, there was a lot of excitement, a lot of responses. I talked to few leaders who are responsible for World Economic Summit every year, every by years. I talk to them, and the way the things are happening there and slowing down everything, and Europe itself is coming down. What I said is, this summit was there, started from holidaying of CEOs.
Correct.
Then it converted. Now it is not just a holiday, it's a serious matter.
Correct.
So I said this whole thing, the structure should be not rigid, it should be very, very flexible, and the summit should move on in different parts of the world every year, so that it really becomes World Summit. Otherwise it's a World Limited Summit. So break the shackles. And I said they will be having Indian World Economic Summit in Bombay once in 2 years. I said, you please bring World Economic Summit itself to Bangalore. I'll host it. And I offered them to host it, so that the international scenario will be there in Bangalore. It can inspire a lot of other states in the country, and the International Trade Committee will be also be inspired by what are the achievements what we have in and around Bangalore and in the country. So it's a win-win situation. This I have spoken to one of the main people who are responsible for World Bank Summit. Let's see.
How soon can we see that happening? Yeah.
I have been pursuing, and probably I might go in the month of January once again. Then I'll pursue it.
Right, absolutely. Sir, one last question, not even a question, but what would be your message to people who are attending? Because I believe more than 10,000 delegates across the globe are flying into Bengaluru. The city is completely plastered with GIM, colors everywhere. What would be your message to them?
Please come, feel at home. We have got a cosmopolitan culture. We have got a best of climatic conditions in Bangalore. Enjoy that. Come, see, invest, prosper, and make the state also prosper. You will find a very, very proactive partner in Government of Karnataka. We will not only do the hand-holding, we will not only work step by step with you, we will work shoulder to shoulder with you. It will be a very, very pleasurable experiment for you, and I am sure once you come and if you start doing a serious business, you will be coming again and again. We welcome you every time you come. That's my message.
Well, on that note, sir, thank you so much for joining us, and wish you all the luck for Global Investors Meet.
Thank you.
We are going to be there. Thank you so much, sir. Namaskar.
The News Hour at 10 will be right back after the break.
The most pressing issue, the most informed minds, free and fair exchange. Converse India with Rahul Shivshankar.
आपको सब फिल्म स्टार ही चाहिए खतरा में।
नहीं हेमा मालिनी।
कन्हैया जी ने भक्त चाहिए जी राधे राधे। कल रात की सावन का फिल्म also become.
You're watching the News Hour at 10.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that campaigns are being run in order to make one Indian language an enemy of another language. Urging students to keep their native language and dialect alive, Union Home Minister Amit Shah said that basic education should be imparted in local languages. BJP National President JP Nadda paid tribute to Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel in Kullu and said that he is the reason behind India's unity. Supreme Court posts for December 6 the hearing of petitions challenging the Citizenship Amendment Act. The court granted 2 weeks to Assam and Tripura to file their responses. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami, while flagging off a Run for Unity marathon, said that PM Modi's Ek Bharat, Shresht Bharat campaign is based on Sardar Patel's ideologies.
The News Hour at 10 will be right back after the break. You're watching the News Hour at 10.
After court rejected application for virtual appearance of ex-West Bengal Minister Partha Chatterjee, he was brought to special CBI court in Alipur in connection with the Bengal School Service Commission scam. Jammu and Kashmir DGP Dilbag Singh slammed Pakistan's nefarious designs, saying they have started playing a new game of using drones to smuggle weapons, narcotics and IEDs. Maharashtra CM Eknath Shinde said that Prime Minister and Home Minister have given assurance that big projects will come to Maharashtra as well. BJP Tamil Nadu President Annamalai blamed systematic failure by the state in preventing the Coimbatore car blast on October 23. Selvaraj, son of the deceased in Kerala human sacrifice case, has said that even after his continuous requests, Kerala Chief Minister is not taking the case seriously.
The most pressing issue, the most informed minds, free fair exchange. Converse India with Rahul Shivshankar.
आपको सब फिल्म स्टार ही चाहिए मथुरा में।
नहीं हेमा मालिनी।
कन्हैया जी ने भक्त चाहिए जी कल रात की सावन का ऑल्सो बिकम। मथुरा के जो सांसद बनना चाहेंगे उसको तो आप बनने नहीं देंगे। आप दिमाग में सबको ऐसा डाल के रखेंगे फिल्म स्टार ही बनेगा। आपको सब फिल्म स्टार ही चाहिए मथुरा में।
नहीं हेमा मालिनी।
कन्हैया जी ने भक्त चाहिए जी कल रात की सावन का ऑल्सो बिकम। बहुत अच्छी बात है।
आपका क्या विचार है इस बार? आप
मेरा विचार क्या मैं बताऊं? मेरा विचार भगवान के ऊपर है। लॉर्ड कृष्णा विल डू इट।
मैं तो देश की सेवा के लिए ही पैदा हुई हूँ और मैं देश की सेवा करना चाहती हूँ। और क्यों नहीं, हमारे मोदी साहब, हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी चाय बनाते बनाते प्रधानमंत्री जी पीएम बन सकते हैं, तो मैं बॉलीवुड में काम करते करते सीएम क्यों नहीं बन सकती हूँ? डेफिनेटली मैं बनूंगी। आप सबका आशीर्वाद चाहिए। तो 2024 में अब आप मुझे चुनाव लड़ते हुए देखेंगे। किसके अपोजिट, ये सरप्राइज है।
Narendra Modi said that campaigns are being run in order to make one Indian language an enemy of another language. Urging students to keep their native language and dialect alive, Union Home Minister Amit Shah said that basic education should be imparted in local languages. BJP National President JP Nadda paid tribute to Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel in Kullu and said that he is the reason behind India's unity. Supreme Court posts for December 6 the hearing of petitions challenging the Citizenship Amendment Act. The court granted 2 weeks to Assam and Tripura to file their responses. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami, while flagging off a Run for Unity marathon, said that PM Modi's Ek Bharat, Shresht Bharat campaign is based on Sardar Patel's ideologies.
Well, on a very warm welcome. You're watching News Now Overnight with me, Priya Behel. First up, let's get you up to speed with top 50 news stories. At least 134 people declared dead after the cable bridge in Gujarat's Morbi collapsed last evening. Close to 170 people have been rescued. 9 accused arrested, all of them low-ranking officials of Oreva Group, including 2 managers, 3 ticket window clerks and 2 contractors. Times Now confronts Gujarat Minister Brajesh Mirza. While evading our questions, he says he's there to see the patients, not to take questions. Times Now accesses video of a Morbi bridge inauguration on the 26th of October. The owner and MD of Oreva Group, Jaisukh Patel, seen in the video. Disturbing visuals coming from moments ahead of the bridge collapse have been accessed by Times Now. It shows a group of visitors standing and balancing precariously on the bridge as it swings wildly from side to side. Within 11 seconds, it collapses. People fall in the Machu River. The contract of Morbi Bridge with the private firm named Ajanta Oreva reveals shocking lapses that led to tragedy. While 8 to 12 months were given for the bridge's maintenance and renovation, it was reopened months in advance within 7 months. Gujarat police files an FIR in the case, books bridge maintenance agency without naming it for culpable homicide. Meanwhile, State Home Minister says a 5-member SIT will carry out a detailed probe. The injured in Morbi tragedy were admitted to City Hospital. They narrated their ordeal of a collapse where they saw several drowning to death. Eyewitnesses continue to recount their horrific nightmare. Some say scores of people tumbled into the river within seconds, including a pregnant woman and a 2-year-old child who would be the youngest victim of this tragedy. Gujarat Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel takes note of the mishap, personally reaches out and reaches the spot. Prime Minister Narendra Modi got teary-eyed as he condoled loss of lives in Morbi tragedy. He earlier ensured a strict probe into the same and is scheduled to visit Morbi tomorrow. Prime Minister also chaired a high-level meeting on Morbi, which was attended by Gujarat Chief Minister and DGP among others. Union Home Minister Amit Shah has offered condolences over the death of 134 innocent people during the bridge collapse. Congress National President Mallikarjun Kharge and National Secretary Tariq Anwar have called for an immediate inquiry and questioned the bridge's operations. Congress MP Digvijay Singh has visited Morbi tragedy site and alleged that BJP leaders and officials continued with a meeting regardless of the collapse. Nepalese Prime Minister and a Singapore envoy shared that they were deeply saddened over loss of lives in cable bridge collapse in Morbi. Delhi police has searched residences of Siddharth Varadarajan and M.K. Venu, the editors of The Wire, related to Meta Reports case. Their phones and laptops have been seized during the searches. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that campaigns are being run in order to make one Indian language an enemy of another. Urging students to keep their native language and dialect alive, Union Home Minister Amit Shah and the basic education should be imparted in local languages. Supreme Court posts for December 6 the hearing of petitions challenging Citizenship Amendment Act. Court has granted 2 weeks to Assam and Tripura to file their responses. After court rejects the application for virtual appearance of former West Bengal Minister Partha Chatterjee, he is brought to special CBI court in Alipur in connection with West Bengal School Service Commission scam. Former Indian skipper and star cricketer Virat Kohli has dropped an explosive post over a leaked video of his hotel room. Kohli's wife and actor Anushka Sharma has also reacted after a fan leaked the video of his private space. BJP's Tamil Nadu President Annamalai has blamed systemic failure by the state in preventing the Coimbatore car blast on 23rd of October. JNK DGP Dilbag Singh has slammed Pakistan's nefarious designs. He says they have started playing a new game of using drones to smuggle weapons, narcotics and IEDs. Selvaraj, the son of the deceased in Kerala human sacrifice case, has said that even after his continuous request, Kerala Chief Minister is not taking the case seriously. Prime Minister Narendra Modi participated in National Unity Day program in Kevadia, Gujarat on the occasion of birth anniversary of late Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Union Home Minister also paid tributes to Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. He said if he had been the first Prime Minister of India, the country would not have faced most of the problems that it is facing today. At a Run for Unity event, UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath said that it was the first time Sardar Patel was given due honour, and earlier some people wanted to preserve that place of respect for themselves and their families. Jammu and Kashmir police paraded at police complex in Srinagar on the occasion of National Unity Day. Indian stock indices have gained to third week, while rupee appreciated slightly as it stood at 82.32 against a US dollar. Union Minister Anurag Thakur at the closing ceremony of Clean India 2.0 program has called for active youth participation to ensure a cleaner country. Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde has said that Prime Minister and Home Minister have given assurances that big projects will come to Maharashtra as well. Congress Party's Bharat Jodo Yatra resumed from Shadnagar in Telangana today. Royal Australian Navy ships HMAS Adelaide and Anzac arrived in Visakhapatnam for exercise Indo-Pacific Endeavour with the Indian Navy. Forest officials have rescued a leopard Kamroop in Assam and released it to its habitat under Silla range. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath was seen playing cricket after inaugurating a program on Sardar Patel National Divyang T20 Cup tournament in Lucknow. Delhi has reported 299 cases of dengue in the last week, taking the total to 2,175, while no deaths have been reported so far. India has clocked more than 1,000 new cases of COVID-19 with 8 deaths in the last 24 hours. The country's daily positivity rate stands at 1.59%. Union Minister Anurag Thakur has congratulated Satvik Sairaj and Chirag on winning the French Open title. Indian men's team has suffered a 2-3 defeat at the hands of Spain in its second match of the FIH Pro League Hockey. In a video that has gone viral, workers of a Foxconn plant in Zhengzhou city in China are seen leaving the site to avoid reintroduced COVID-19 curbs. This is the complex that manufactures iPhones. South Koreans mourned for relatives lost in the chaos that killed more than 150 people when a huge Halloween party crowd surged into a narrow alley in a nightlife district in Seoul. South Korea's president and his wife visited a memorial shrine for the victims of the crowd crush. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese also mourned the death of one Australian in the Seoul Halloween stampede. Brazil's electoral authority confirmed that Luiz Lula da Silva of the leftist Workers' Party had defeated incumbent Jair Bolsonaro to become country's next president. Silva has vowed to reinstate the monitoring of the Amazon with special interest of illegal mining of minerals and lumber extraction. Dropping new details every day after Twitter takeover, 51-year-old tech billionaire Elon Musk has now said that there would be changes to the Twitter verification process as well. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has expressed outrage at Russia's decision to halt its participation in the grain deal. Dozens of women dressed as La Catrina marched through Mexico City to protest the unresolved killings of women. Nearly 100 people have died in one of the most destructive storms to lash the Philippines this year. Dozens more are feared missing after villagers got buried in a boulder-laden mudslide. And the top focus story remains what transpired yesterday in Morbi, Gujarat. It was a bloodbath that played out in plain sight in Morbi, as Machu River turned a mass grave for 133 people, including 45 children. And as evidence emerges, it is as clear as day that this was a mass murder. And one of the authorities that clearly has blood on its hand is the Morbi municipality. A bridge that became stairway to hell, a bridge that could barely hold 80 to 100 people at one time, crammed with up to 400 on that fateful day. And people who bought tickets to their death for 12 and 17 rupees barely knew what lay in store for them.
जो टिकट काउंटर है और टिकट काउंटर से लेकर इस तरफ जब लोग चल के आया करते थे तो यहां से कुछ लोग एग्जिट भी हुआ करते थे। और ये वो जगह है, आप देख सकते हैं यहां पर जो ये खंबा जो लगा हुआ है, सबसे पहले मैं बताना चाहूंगा इसकी दुर्दशा क्या हो गई है। आप देख सकते हैं सबसे पहले यहां पर ये जो बांधा हुआ था रोड, पूरी तरह से ये भी जब ये प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट हुआ तब ये टूट गया। गुजरात एफएसएल की टीम जो है गांधीनगर से स्पेशल आई और उन्होंने इस केबल ब्रिज को काटा और यहां से सैंपल्स लिए। ये वास्तविकता है कि ये टूटा और उसके बाद में जो लोग जरूरत से ज्यादा इस जगह पे मौजूद थे वो लोग एक साइड गिर गए और पुल पूरा वहां से भी टूट के धराशायी हो गया। बड़ी संख्या में लोग जब यहां पर पहुंचते हैं उसके बाद इस तरह का मामला जो है घटता है। एक साथ 100 से ज्यादा लोग यहां पर पहले पानी में गिरते हैं, उसके बाद में बाकी के जो लटके हुए थे वो गिरते हैं। जिस तरह से एक साइड का केबल टूटा है और एक साइड के केबल को टूटने की वजह से ये गंभीर घटना हुई। आप देख सकते हैं ये जो इसकी सपोर्टिंग जो नेट लगाई गई थी लोहे की वो भी टूट गई है। हमने उस साइड से भी बताया है कि किस तरह से वहां पर इसका पूरा मलबा गिरा हुआ है। और कल जब यहां पर हम मौजूद थे, जिस तरह से हमने एक एक चीजें दर्शाई हैं वो सारी चीजें बताती हैं कि किस तरह से यहां पर घटना हुई है।
This mass murder was an outcome of series of grave lapses on the part of Morbi municipality, whose property the bridge is. But it is now trying to abdicate its responsibility by saying that they knew nothing about it being thrown open prematurely months before its due date as per a signed contract. They want us to believe that they did not know that thousands of tickets were being sold daily for 5 full days before the tragedy struck. They also say that they did not know that a massive civil structure was functional right under their noses without any fitness certificate.
मोरबी में जिस केबल ब्रिज की बात हम करें वहां पर टाइम्स नाउ नवभारत की टीम पहुंची है और आप मेरे